healthy, got wealthy, and even got wise. That sweet Kangen water open up my eyes, satisfying for the body, gratifying for the mind. Kangen water for the rest of my life. Kangen water quenches your thirst. Kangen water feeds your soul. Kangen water inspiring your dreams. Kangen water for the rest of my life. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Kangen water will set you free. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Kangen water will set you free. Let's unify with Chi spirit. Let's follow Mr. O philosophy. Look within 'cause you wanna win. Join the Kangen Nation. Kangen Nation, we're everywhere. All around the world, water we share. Changing one life at a time. With compassion for mankind. Well, I love you so you gotta know. Hope you don't mind me preaching.
You're listening to the Wolf's Den Radio Show. Talk.
Happy New Year, sisters and brothers, and welcome to 2021, the first episode of WDRS Talk, the Wolf's Den Radio Show Talk. With your host, this is Wolf Hemara. Thank you very much for joining me at the start of the year. It's going to be a great year. It's only got to get better. I hope you guys are all good. I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are healthy. Keep boosting your immune system. That's how you're going to fight COVID. Wash your hands. Wear that mask. Keep on keeping on. The vaccines are coming, and it's going to get better. And so don't give up hope. And I hope everybody had a great New Year. Of course, despite the situation. And I'm sure we all had a modest New Year celebration. If we were alone, then you were not alone. Your loved ones were there in spirit. And even I don't know if you guys saw or even tried to watch the ball drop in Times Square in New York City, and it was just a weird thing to see. It wasn't exciting at all. You know, usually they interview the people in the crowd, and you see the big crowd, and you get excited. But this time there was nothing there. It was just all stands and a couple of frontline workers, hospital staff. I think were invited to hang out, so it was fun for them, especially for them, and they deserve that. And we just want to give a shout out to all the frontline people all over the world, man. The nurses, the doctors, the hospital staff, the custodians, everybody that works in a hospital and is working hard against COVID. Big shout out to you guys. And just keep on keeping on. We are rooting for you, and you are man. You are working hard, man. So hats off to you. So anyway, folks, it's going to be a great year. I've got a couple of really good interviews coming up that have been, I've done the interviews already, and I plan to do some more interesting people. And I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast so far. And and this episode, first episode of 2021, is a special one. And it's going to be with my very good friend, Gary Ballen. And Gary, his claim to fame and why I want wanted to interview him. I met him at a party of a mutual friend, and we hit it off. He's a great musician, music lover, and as you get to know a person, they reveal things about themselves to you, and the first thing that I discovered about him was that he was the former road manager slash production manager of N.W.A. with Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and Eazy-E and all those guys. Fuck the Police fame, one of the originators of West Coast gangster rap, not just West Coast but gangster rap across the board. They changed music history. They invented a genre of music, and he was there to witness it, man. So and he was also in the interview and the stories he told me. He also did production manager work for Air Supply on their first tour of America, which was very huge. And he also managed a band called Hurricane in the mid '80s, a hair metal band. And I actually saw the vinyl album of that band, Hurricane, a couple of days ago. And I was like, "Oh, this is the band that Gary managed. It's Hurricane." And then I flipped the vinyl record, and I look, it's there. His name is there. It's like Gary Ballen Management or something like that. Gary Ballen Entertainment or something. Ballen Entertainment. And I was like, "Yeah, I know this dude, man." So it was very cool, man. So and he's been through a lot of American history. He was during the turbulent late 1960s, during the Vietnam War, Kent State University, and he has so many great stories, folks. And I just wanted him to tell it to everybody who wants to listen. And he also recently got engaged. So congratulations to Gary and Marilu. And they are the new sponsors of the show, Kangen Water. So if you heard the ad at the beginning of the show, please check them out. Check out their website, and I really appreciate Gary for offering sponsorship for WDRS Talk. So that money is going to go to a great cause. It's going to pay some bills and buy some equipment and for everybody, and to improve the show, of course. Always want to move forward. So here we are, folks, and like I said, I'm not sure. I'm still not feeling up to doing the live DJ sets yet because my energies have somehow transferred to here. But I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Don't worry about it. But in the meantime, I really hope you guys are enjoying the interviews. I'm trying my best to find some very interesting people. Not exactly the most popular people, but the most interesting people to me. So when I'm doing these interviews, I'm actually not doing it for everybody. I'm doing it for me. And if you actually know the person I'm interviewing and you have interest in them, then that's great. But it's really for me, and I just want to share it with everybody who is willing to accept that gift. So on with the show. Good luck to everybody for 2021. Once you can receive that vaccine, get the vaccine. Don't think twice about it. Of course, you talk to your doctor and you discuss your if you have allergies or if you have low blood sugar and stuff like that. Of course, you got to tell your doctor before they give you the vaccine so they know if it's safe or not. And stay safe, everybody. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Boost your immune system. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, turmeric. Just boost that motherfucker, man. And we're gonna get out of this together. We are in this together, and we're gonna get out of this together. All right. So here we are, WDRS Talk, what episode is it? Episode 10. How poignant. Episode 10. The first episode of 2021. This is me talking to Gary Ballen. Enjoy. All right, sisters and brothers, this is another great episode of WDRS Talk, the Wolf's Den Radio Show Talk. And my guest for today is a very special person who I had the privilege to meet, I guess, more than a decade ago, or maybe a decade already. I'm not sure exactly, but it's been a long time already since we've.
It's been over 10 years, yeah.
Yeah. And he's a very entertaining person, a very kind person, a very warm person, and just generous, and just the best guy. And he is a great musician, a great singer, a human jukebox, as people like to call him. And he also happened to be the road manager of N.W.A. back in the mid '80s. Was it mid or
Late
later?
80s, late 80s, 89, 90, I started.
All right. So, folks, please, sisters and brothers, please welcome my friend Gary Ballen. Gary, welcome to the show. I am so happy that you're here.
My pleasure, Wolf. Anything for you.
All right, thanks, man. So how have you been, man? Through
You know what? We've been great. Mary Lou and I, that's how I met Wolf, through my girlfriend, Mary Lou, who I've lived with for over 7 years, and her daughter.
already?
Yeah. We've already, it's been our 7-year, 8th month anniversary yesterday.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Well, congratulations, man.
Yes, and she's Filipina, and she took me to the Philippines twice already. So
Yeah.
that's where we met. And her daughter is married to a good friend of mine, Brad, and that's who I knew first, Brad and Tina.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, I met Mary Lou, and we love each other. So we're together all the time, and we're hanging in there.
Wow, man. So when did that spark happen, man? Do you mind talking about that?
No, I don't mind talking about that at all. It's like
Inquiring minds want to know, man.
neither of us ever thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
The first time she saw me, I was singing in a bar in Oxnard, California, and I did a lot of rap. I did a lot of N.W.A. Am I allowed to curse on this? Well,
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
okay. So, I do Straight Outta Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube from a gang called Brothers with Attitude. When I'm called off, I got a sawed off. Squeeze the trigger, bodies are hauled off. So I do all this gangster rap, and she hated it. She hated the 4-letter words. Mary Lou went to the Etsa Shrine in Manila every single day she went to church.
Oh my God.
So she was very religious, still is. And I'm on the other side of the spectrum.
Right.
But we got to be good friends because of Brad and Tina, and I helped her learn how to drive here in California, in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent a lot of time together just in the car, and I was taking care of my mother, who was dying of pancreatic cancer. She was in her mid-80s.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary Lou and my mom got to be really good friends, which was nice. And we just got to be best friends. And kind of because of that, one day she called me up and she said she had a date with my business manager.
Uh-huh.
Without me knowing about it. No, she didn't even tell me. Oh, she told me the day it happened.
Oh.
So I kind of got, hoodwinked here. But she said she wanted me to be the chaperone of a date, which I thought was crazy. Why you're going out with this guy who I know, who should have told me in the first place, because we knew we were really close, but he didn't and she didn't. So I'm at this jam session. It's a hootenanny, and I'm playing guitar for about 4 or 5 hours straight, nonstop. And I'm smoking pot, and I'm high. My fingers are hurting, and I just want to go home. And she said, "No, you got to come over, and we're going to Brad's house. Me and your friend." And I just don't. I've never dated an American guy before, and I don't know what to do. I said, "Okay." So I come over, and I I get the guy really stoned. He's like a stockbroker. So the guy hasn't smoked pot or anything in like a year. So I got him really stoned, et cetera, et cetera. And it turns out that I stayed for as long as I could. And then eventually Tina's Brad's son came over and we all left. So that's kind of how it started. And Mary Lou and I were also in a business together. A Kangen water. Right. You know, when my mom got sick, I learned about this Kangen water. You know, it's a Japanese technology, and it's like the healthiest water in the world. Right. So you know, I got a machine from my mom, and when Mary Lou came into the U.S., she helped me market it because she was a marketer. I'm a musician and a rock and roll guy, so I really never was in sales or marketing or any of that. So we had a demo to go up to Santa Cruz. My sister lived up there, so we had about 15 or 20 people. We were going to take the water up and kind of give them a demonstration how it worked. And then the next day we were going to go to San Jose, where she had a cousin, and do the same thing. So we got in the car and we started driving up Pacific Coast Highway. If you've ever been there, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful drive, you know, all the way up, like from Santa Monica, all the way up the coast to Santa Cruz. Yeah. So we kind of took the long way right on the ocean, and it was getting kind of romantic, and we were kind of getting, you know, lovey-dovey, et cetera. But still, it's like I never held her hand, or we never talked about anything. Right. So it's sunrise and the sun's setting, and not sunrise, the sun is setting, and we kind of pull over and we look at the sunset over the, you know, this beautiful ocean, sun setting in it, and we kind of start falling in love. Nice. So we drive up to Hollister, California, where my brother is. I don't know if I should say this, but I will. And so he's got these marijuana cookies. Okay. So we take the night before, we eat a little bit. She doesn't smoke pot. She doesn't do anything. You know, she's very.
Was this the first time she took pot?
First time, yeah. I think the first time she ever took cookie. But it wasn't. It didn't affect her that much that night. So the next day we drove to Santa Cruz to do our you know what? I better not say this story. Okay. I'm cut it out. Now, this is going to the Philippines, and you know it. Oh, it's too long, and it's long and it's crazy. But to make a long story short, we kind of fell in love on that trip, and we've been together ever since. She moved in with me in when I lived in N.W.A. And so we've been together like for over 8 years. We've been to the Philippines twice, and so I better keep it like that for now. Yeah, and we got engaged. Oh, that's right. Yeah, about 2 months ago. It's like I inherited a bunch of money. I got lucky. Wow. And I never could have. I always said when I can afford to engage you, you know, I mean, to be where we're engaged, I'll do it. And so I kind of got lucky. I was playing at this VA hospital. I did a lot of charity work, playing guitar and singing to old people, mostly VA veterans, assisted living places. So like I ran into this guy about 7 or 8 years ago, an old Navy veteran named Johnny Horton. And he was already in his 80s. And I would get up and play, and he'd get up and sing with me. He was saying like, Ain't No Sunshine. He would sing "Stand by Me." He would do Lou Rawls. He would do what's his name? Sam Cooke,
Nice.
Temptations, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So his dream, and he wrote a bunch of songs. But this guy was in his 80s in the VA hospital, living in the psych ward.
Right.
He was locked in.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Eventually, I used to get him up to sing with me, and so we got to be really good buddies. And one day he says, "Hey Gary, I wrote a song. Think you can follow along?" I said, "Sure." So he breaks into this song about Paris Hilton.
Okay.
So
It's his own. It's his own song.
His own song about Paris Hilton.
Okay.
Now, you know who Paris Hilton is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So what is this old 80-year-old dude singing about Paris Hilton? So it's like, it goes like this. It goes, "Paris Hilton is a rebel. Yes, indeed. Paris Hilton is a rebel, just like me. Paris Hilton is a rebel. Can't you see? That's why we get along so happily." So he's got this whole song about Paris Hilton. So his dream was to go to a recording studio. So I take him into a recording studio. We record the song. I get this world famous harmonica player named Jimmy Z, who played with Rod Stewart and the Eurythmics. I used to be his manager. And he played harmonica on it. And we brought in a video crew and we videotaped it and we put it on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now. It's called Johnny Horton, Paris Hilton is a Rebel.
Nice.
And so over the next 7 or 8 years, we recorded 11 songs. And eventually he started living in a very low class assisted living place in Linwood, in the hood, in South Central LA.
Right.
And he was always broke and he was always on the streets begging money. So I put together a CD for him so he could sell a CD. So he put like 7 of his songs on a CD and he'd sell them out in front of McDonald's and Denny's, et cetera, et cetera. So to make a long story, it is a long story, but I'll shorten it. So last year, he passes away. And he listed me as his next of kin. And now I never thought that he had anything because he was always broke. Every time we went and saw him, I would give him money. We'd take him out to lunch. It turned out he had like over $100,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in an account. And he left. After expenses, he left about $75,000 to me.
Oh, wow, dude.
Right, exactly. So which I got and saved my ass, I'm telling you. Once the pandemic started, because all my live playing, it all stopped. So so I got this money, and once I got the money, then I proposed to Mary Lou. And so we're now officially engaged, and I'm hoping on another big chunk, and then we'll get married someday.
Ah, that's cool, man. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
All right. So, man, that's when the first time I met you was at those fun parties at Brad and Tina's house.
Oh yeah.
And
that's a good story right there.
Yeah.
Brad and Tina, yeah. This was Mary Lou's daughter, Tina, and her husband. They used to come and see me at a bar called the Lookout Bar and Grill in Oxnard, California, which is where we live now. But at that time, we were living in LA. So they came and saw me and they liked my act, and we just got to be really good friends. And the first time I met Brad, I think it was the first or second, he came up to me and he said, "Hey man, he said he was a guitar player." And he said, I don't know if I want to take lessons from you or just hang out, So we ended up hanging out together. We didn't live that far away from each other. So every Tuesday night, me and him would just sit down and play guitar, just play music for hours and hours and have a good old time.
Nice.
And so that's kind of how I met you. It's like, as it went on, we added more and more people. And first it was 2, then there was 5, then there was 10, then there was 15.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like a ton of people. We would have these massive, jam sessions with great musicians.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
it's been
God.
happening for years now. It's incredible.
Yeah, those jam sessions were. It had a peak where everyone was actually playing and paying attention. It wasn't just
Yeah.
background music. It was like the center of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had some really good
fun.
players, yourself included. And
Thanks.
and then we would also take it to some of the clubs I played at. Like Rock and Roll Pizza, the Rack,
Right.
where you came and sat in with us every now and then.
Yeah.
But we were, I always played live. I've been playing live since I've been 15 years old.
Oh man.
And I'm 68 now. I never stopped. I did a lot of touring. I was on tour for 10 years on the road. I managed groups, production manager, road manager.
Yeah.
I was a personal manager for groups. I was in the business most of my life, but I never stopped performing and playing. That's always been, my love.
Yeah. So since we're there, so where are you from? Where were you
Columbus,
born?
Ohio. Ohio State Buckeyes, who are in the championship now. Thank you.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. We play Clemson January 1st, and then when we kick their butts, we're going to play Alabama, and we'll be the number one team in the country. But yeah, I started in Columbus, and I started taking guitar lessons at 9 years old.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of a bad kid and got in a lot of trouble, so my parents wanted to kind of change my focus. And so I was in bands in elementary school. It was my first band at 6th grade. Junior high, I was in bands. High school, I had a great 12-piece soul band. It was a half black, half white school.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 4 black singers out front. We had a horn section.
Wow.
We did all Motown, Stax, James Brown, Temptations, Supremes, Percy Sledge. And we were really good. We were the go-to band in high school.
What's the name of the band?
Contemporaries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's a nice picture of me and the band on my website, which is GaryBallen.com.
Uh-huh.
And you can kind of see my whole history and all the photos of me and my 6th grade band, the Pretzels, and then once I got
so when you're a kid, man, 6th grade, man, I feel like 6th grade, I was only like, I wasn't even listening to the radio. I was a kid. So how does a 6th grader just, how do you think?
When
I
I
want to
was
start a band like with 3 other people,
Look, when I was 4 years old, I remember seeing a band when I was 4 years old, and I knew that is what I wanted to do. And it wasn't only the band, it was the microphones, the chords looked like snakes, so I dug that. There was all this stuff going on. And then I also, when I was really young, 5 or 6, I had a cousin who was a teenager, and she and her friends used to have what they call sock hops. Mm-hmm. So they would get a little little turntable, play 45s of Dion and the Belmonts, Elvis, Little Richard, right. This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so me and my cousin and my brother, we kind of sit there and watch these girls dancing around and listen to this music.
Uh-huh.
So, it's kind of all getting into my psyche.
Right.
And my mom and dad always had music going. They were musicians themselves, but at those times, this is the 50s. Uh-huh. We're listening to Sound of Music, West Side Story.
Okay.
Broadway musicals.
Right.
Johnny Mathis, Frank Sinatra.
So no rock and roll yet.
No rock and roll yet, but the first rock and roll I kind of really remember was Bye Bye Birdie, because they had this cat named Conrad Birdie who was kind of like Elvis.
Okay. So
he kind of started, he was rocking out. So, once I kind of saw that, I said, man, this is cool.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of how it started. And when I moved from Cleveland to Columbus in 6th grade, and I started taking guitar lessons. Uh-huh. So I started learning how to read notes and read chords, and it was, stuff, like cowboy songs, Home on the Range.
Were you playing on a normal guitar? Were your hands big enough?
The guitar I've got right now, it's a, I've had it since I've been 9. It's a Martin 015. It's 68 years old. It's as old as me, this guitar.
So were your hands big enough to that at that age?
Yeah. It's a small body. It's a small body. So it's not a big one. So it was like perfect. And, over the years, I've hitchhiked all across the country with it. I've fallen off stages with it. I've broken it. I've done all kind of stuff, but I still play it 3 days a week, every single week now on Facebook Live.
It never warped or anything?
Well, it's had some issues, but I got some great guys that can work on it. So, there's a guy named the Amazing Nick who used to work at the that famous guitar place in Norm's Rare Guitar, it's called. And so the luthier there. So if I got problems, he could fix it. So I've kept it.
Nice. So when you were, did you see the Beatles on TV when they first came out here in the States?
Of course.
How old were you? How old were you when that happened?
I was probably 12.
Okay.
11 or 12. Maybe that was 63, maybe, and I was born in 52.
Okay.
And as soon as they came out, I would go and buy the sheet music of Beatles songs.
What was your reaction, man, when you saw it?
Oh, it was life-changing.
Wow.
It just changed my life. I mean, because I was already playing music, and then I see these guys on the Ed Sullivan Show, and just couldn't imagine. I mean, I just couldn't get over it. And then I really got into all the British invasion bands, Jerry and the Pacemakers, Dave Clark 5, Rolling Stones, the Kinks, the Who, the Beatles, Chad and Jeremy, Peter and Gordon. And for some reason, I've been really good at remembering lyrics. I was never like a great guitar player, still am not, but I know thousands of songs. So I was really good at remembering lyrics, and I loved the British invasion. So once the Beatles happened in the 60s, then I was in junior high. I was in a band with a couple friends of mine, and we did Wooly Bully, Twist and Shout, Hang On Sloopy, all those 60s songs. And again, it's a way to get girls. It wasn't like I was really that good looking and didn't have any money, but I figure, if I could play and sing, maybe I'll get a couple girls every now and then.
Yeah.
And so that was junior high, and then in high school.
Were you into Bob Dylan and the folk stuff?
Loved Bob Dylan. Loved folk stuff. I knew all kind of Peter, Paul, and Mary, and the what's his name? Arlo Guthrie, Woody Guthrie. Yeah, I was into all that stuff.
So was it because nowadays, I mean, especially with Spotify and stuff like that, you can really be so specific in what genre you listen to. So it's like I would when I would hang out with people older than I was during that era, they would always just say, well, it was just rock. It was all the same. There's nothing,
No.
No? Okay.
No, it wasn't all the same. There's so many different kinds of rock. There's rockabilly.
No, but what I mean is, were people conscious of it at that time to really say, okay, this is rockabilly, that's surf rock, that's
in America, rock. Pretty much in the U.S., people were pretty sophisticated.
Oh, okay.
So
they were taking rock and roll seriously already by this time.
Yeah, but exactly. Well, yeah. Oh, we took rock and roll serious with Elvis and Buddy Holly and, in the late 50s, when that stuff was going on. So the Beatles just kind of took it a little further. And the cool thing about the Beatles and the Rolling Stones is the groups they liked the best were all black Motown groups. The soul guys. That's who they respected. And the blues guys.
Yeah.
The old blues guys, Muddy Waters, you know, Howlin' Wolf, you know.
So how were speaking of those blues guys, what was that like? I mean, you were too young for that, right? I mean, to be, or no?
No, I wasn't too young at all.
Okay.
I mean, it started in the 20s, maybe, you know. I mean, but as far as my interest in it went, because I was in a half black, half white junior high and high school, I had a lot of influences, a lot of black influences. So friends of mine would turn me on to B.B. King, you know, Thriller's Gone, you know, and things like that, or Albert Collins, or Johnny Terry and Brownie McGee, you know, who are like older guys and who are more folk, blues folk kind of guys. So there was so much of it to go around, and I always, you know, kept my mind open to kind of learn a little bit of everything.
Right. So was blues music during that time? Was it fringe or was it already mainstream?
No, it wasn't mainstream at all.
Okay.
You know, and like in the city, again, the Rolling Stones would do some blues stuff. So you really didn't even know about it until like groups like the Rolling Stones, you know, did, you know, I'm a bumblebee, you know, buzzing around your hive, things like that. And then they would talk. And back then, the cool thing too was you had the Rolling Stone magazine. You know, you had Crawdad. You had a lot of magazines, so you could learn about all these different types of music.
Right.
You know, and where it came from. And, you know, it's not like now with YouTube, you can do everything immediately. But there, you can research things. If you're a musician and you want to learn, then you could read, you know, who did what, how it started, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So another thing that I like asking people of your era is that how did you feel when Bob Dylan went electric?
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had the band behind him, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he had Al Cooper on keyboards, but, you know, he had Robbie Robertson, you know, and Rick Danko. And I wasn't a folk
purist.
I wasn't a purist by any means. A lot of that I thought was boring, actually. You know, so I was, you know, I loved Hendrix. You know, I loved the electric stuff. I loved Band of Gypsies, you know. I mean, I love that stuff, you know.
So how did songs like those, when he turned electric, of course, all these songs were, I mean, wait, how did it feel when it was like, holy shit, Bob Dylan's with, and you know, and then you hear a rock and roll band, you know, on the record, not live, but on the record. It's like when you first heard like a Rolling Stone, or like what was the reaction of everybody, you know?
Mind blowing.
Wow.
And the thing too is, I think they hyped it a lot more than it really was, you know, about people freaking out that he went electric. It was kind of like the highbrows, you know, kind of like the, you know, again, like the purists that don't even like rock and roll anyway.
Right,
you know,
right.
So,
Yeah.
Who cares about them?
Yeah,
you know? They're kind of stuck in their own world where, you know, Dylan, if he's bored and wants to do something new, he could do whatever he wants. He's Bob Dylan.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, because now it's like a song like a Rolling Stone is, you know, it's on a playlist on every radio, you know, that plays classic rock, you know. But, and then of course you take it for granted because it's played all the time. But then when you listen to it, when you really listen to it, and then you think that you have to, I mean, for me, speaking of me, I have to like imagine being there and hearing it for the first time on the radio in the car. I'm so interested with how people reacted when they first heard, let's say, you know, Cream.
Yeah.
I really, because I wasn't there, I was not born yet.
Right.
So I love that music, and that's what interests me,
I'll tell you what killed me.
Uh-huh.
Fucking Led Zeppelin's first record.
Oh, really?
I get goosebumps thinking about it. Yeah, I was like a senior in high school.
Yeah.
When that came out, that was like earth shattering. We never heard anything like it.
Yeah.
As great as Hendrix was and Cream was, but when Zeppelin first came out, man, like same thing with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. That was a whole nother kind of different type of music, but those things were kind of so different and new.
Yeah.
That it blew our minds. Blew our minds.
I mean, even now, if you think about it, it's like I'm thinking about CSN, and then even the concept until now it's still unique about their history,
And the great thing is, you can see all this on Netflix. I mean, you can see how it all happened.
Yeah.
Like Mama Cass put that band together.
Yeah.
Up in
Laurel Canyon.
Laurel Canyon.
Did you see that documentary?
Of course, I've seen every documentary that's been made. I think I've seen.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. See, that's the shit I like. I love to know all of that because then you understand the music more.
Yeah.
It becomes a little more personal. Like, yeah, I know. Okay, I know the story of that lyric or this and that. It's like the story of Our House.
Yeah.
Graham Nash was looking at.
Yeah, right.
Was looking at who did Joni Mitchell was outside in the garden.
Right.
She was standing in the garden and he was looking at her, and then he wrote the lyrics, and I'm like, fuck, it's like the lyrics become so much deeper to the listener if you know the story. It's like, oh, you're like, fuck, man. It's
And
like you
also,
wish you could fucking write a song like that for a chick,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wrote one for Mary Lou that's almost that good.
Oh,
God. The thing is, like when you first heard Crosby, Stills, Nash's harmony, like with the Everly Brothers, great harmony. There's great Beatles, great harmony.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young, when they first came out, that harmony was insane.
No, you know why? Because it was a 4-part harmony. I mean, who was doing that before? Like you said, Everly Brothers too. The other one you said was...
And even the Beatles, they did very few songs with 3-part harmony.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of it was 2-part, and John and Paul, and then George would come in like on This Boy, that song, 3-part. Yeah. But most of it's 2-part. But Crosby, Stills, Nash, and the thing of it is, David Crosby was like John Lennon. He could sing those low harmonies that they're weird.
Yeah, they had the weird. Yeah,
when I third and fifth.
Yeah, because I have this thing. It's like when I'm in the car, I'm listening to music. If there's harmonies in song, I try to find that weird harmony and try to sing that.
Yeah,
that's how I practice. Because it's like I sing in the bathroom, I sing in the car. That's my secret thing that I do. I sing to myself. Yeah. And then when those harmonies come in, I always look for Stephen Still's voice. And that's the one that I try to sing because it's like it's so weird that it comes in and out.
Yeah, yeah. And the cool thing is that sometimes you can go to YouTube and find the vocals where they're already, you only hear the one voice.
Oh, really? Oh,
shit. So you can kind of hear what they did.
Yeah.
And it's, I love that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you one other thing. Uh-huh. Another thing that was very cool for me personally was my cousin, Jerry Heller, was an agent in those days for the Guess Who, the Grassroots, Marvin Gaye, the Animals.
Wow.
He's the one that brought Elton John to the first gig at the Troubadour in the United States.
God, really?
He was the agent that did the first Pink Floyd tour. So I had
wait a minute. Was he independent?
Yeah, he had a company. Well, he had a couple different companies. Okay. One was called Heller Fischel. Uh-huh. Actually, there's a book that you can get called Ruthless,
Right.
which is, he also was, of course, the manager of N.W.A. and Eazy-E,
Yeah.
and general manager of Ruthless Records. So he wrote a book, and in the book he can, it's kind of his whole life story. And it's the cool thing is I was there. I mean, not personally there, but he was my cousin. So I kind of was following this through him.
Were you close since you were kids?
Yeah, we were close, but he was 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
So he was a lot older,
Right.
And he moved. We moved. We both were born in Shaker Heights, which is kind of part of Cleveland. And when I was really young, then I moved to Cleveland Heights. He lived in Shaker. Then he went to the service, and then college and everything. And we moved to Columbus. But the summer of 1969, I was going into my senior year of high school, and my parents flew me out to California from Columbus to hang out with my cousin Jerry for a couple weeks. And so I go out there.
What's this, mid 60s?
69.
Okay, 69.
The summer of 69. He lived right off the Sunset Strip.
Holy shit.
You can't even imagine the scene. The Doors are playing, it's like,
oh my God.
So he takes me to the Whiskey A Go-Go. I'm 17. He takes me to the Whiskey. I'm sitting next to Eric Burdon's lead singer of the Animals.
Oh my God.
The other side of me is.
So you're backstage?
No. There's no backstage at the Whiskey. I mean, there's a.
Oh, right. You're just in the road on the sidewalk.
VIP booth.
Oh, VIP booth. Right.
So I got my cousin Eric Burdon from the Animals, me, Hilton Valentine, guitar player for the Animals, and we're watching the Flying Burrito Brothers, on stage. It was a mind-boggling experience for me with Jerry. And then at the same time, I had another cousin named Joanne who took me to a place called the Lighthouse. Now, the Lighthouse is a very famous jazz club.
In LA?
Yeah, and it was in like Redondo Beach, I think, or
right.
It may even still be there. The Lighthouse, famous place. So she takes me there, and I knew about jazz, but not a lot. So I see this guy named Sonny Stitt, this old saxophone player.
Okay.
And I see this guy named Mose Allison, this keyboard player. Who and these guys at the time are pretty famous. So it's kind of like my mind. It's kind of blowing my mind with the rock thing and the jazz thing. And
okay, wait. So these are jazz dudes. What do they look like in 1969?
Well, Sonny Stitt, picture Miles Davis or John Coltrane. These are the guys. He's like these guys, not as famous as those two. Sonny Rollins. Yusef Lateef. But these are all very respectable jazz musicians that toured the world, that played all over the world. And so I got a little taste of jazz in there, which really got me into John Coltrane, and Miles Davis.
I love John Coltrane.
Herbie Hancock and that kind of stuff.
Man.
Yes.
So so that first, was there anything as heavy as the first Zepp album before it came out?
Well, yeah, Black Sabbath. Sabbath.
They came out first. You heard them first?
Sabbath, I think Iron Man or something, or Paranoid. That might have been maybe the same time. Not exactly sure. But as far as heavy, like Led Zeppelin heavy, there's groups like Get Your Motor Running, Head Out on the Highway, Steppenwolf. Yeah, but you can't compare,
Yeah, so like that's as heavy as it got before the first Zepp came out.
Yeah. And Hendrix was heavy, but in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way. But I mean, drums. I mean, heavy drums. It went. There's no one before Bonham.
I think Bonham was the one that got it started.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about John Bonham that I discovered, back, when I first learned about Zepp, you research about the band and you read every interview and every issue of Mojo, with those old interviews.
Right.
And then he reveals that, it's like my idols were those Motown guys. The moment that he said that, I'm like, no wonder. That's like, no wonder. It's just he's just a little bit bigger than the black guys. So that's why he hits much harder than them. But he's playing the exact same thing that the drummers of the Funk Brothers, see, right?
Right.
Brothers.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. So now and that's like, oh, okay. And so that's when I discover, okay, it's not Led Zeppelin is not the first. There's something before that, and something before that.
Right, yeah.
And then I go down this rabbit hole and I end up in fucking Africa.
Then you got Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
Buddy Rich, who was pretty incredible in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
But you're right. You go back to Africa, that's where the shit started.
Yeah, because it's like it's a total rabbit hole. I'm like, I have to know where this fucking, doo-doo, ba, doo-doom, doo-doo, ba, doo-doom. I have to know where that came from.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it took me all the way to Africa. I'm like, oh well, this is it. It doesn't. This is where civilization started in Africa. So this, I'm like, shit. And that's why to me, Led Zeppelin is not just, okay, the best hard rock band or whatever. It's deeper than that for me, because I know for John Bonham to admit that, I'm not the first one who did this,
Well, it's like Charlie Watts.
Uh-huh.
Charlie Watts was a jazz drummer.
Right.
He didn't even want to be in the rock and roll band. I just read something like a couple of weeks ago where him and his buddies before that, he didn't want to be in the Rolling Stones. He thought that was like stupid, But, and look how simple he's kept it. Being
and he's known as
kind of the greatest rock and roll band of all time, kind of.
And dude, he's like one of the best rock and roll drummers. He's like he is known to be the steadiest rock drummer.
Yeah.
The steadiest drummer, and the groove, man. The groove. It's like a black man playing drums. The groove. Yeah. Maybe, I guess, because he is a jazz drummer, then he's not playing conventional. He's really going on feel.
Right. Yeah.
Because his groove, man, especially like the grooves of Bitch, that song, Bitch. Oh my God, it's so groovy, man.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that song. And it's just so groovy, and it's so, oh my God.
Hey, when I was in college, that album, Sticky Fingers, that was incredible. We wore that sucker out. And every club we went in, man, they played that shit so loud. We'd be dancing like we'd be eating acid, Quaaludes, and just going crazy.
It's the perfect party music, man.
Yeah,
that kind of rock and roll. I mean, oh my God. And
I also got into heavy metal. I was managing a heavy metal band in the mid '80s called Hurricane. And,
oh wow!
Yeah. The lead singer Kelly Hansen is now in Foreigner. The drummer Jay Shellen, who is now in Yes, and he was in Asia.
Wow!
But our
Alan White's not in Yes anymore. He retired.
Yeah, he's kind of retired. And there's also two Yeses. There's the guitar player Yes, and then there's the John Anderson. Nonetheless, Jay, was a great double, the double kicks. So, in the mid '80s, I was really into heavy metals, managing a heavy metal band. So we'd open for Iron Maiden, we'd open for Stryper, Quiet Riot, Twisted Sister.
Oh my God!
I'll tell you who I'm on the road with. The drum, Randy Castillo. I was on 2 tours with Randy Castillo.
You knew Randy Castillo.
I knew Randy.
Oh, dude.
And he was
You know
the
what? I gotta
nicest
wait.
guy.
I gotta tell you this. Okay. I love the way Randy Castillo plays. The problem is for me. I don't know, man. The sound of his drums, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's the producer or the way he. I don't know, man. But I never enjoyed the sound of his drums. I love the way he plays, man.
Yeah.
I love the way it's unique. You know, it's not a conventional style of drumming. You know, it's his own thing.
Yeah, well,
And you know his two the China symbols back here they're in the front and then he has the fan and then he has the electric fan on him all the time. Is that all the time, dude?
yeah, he used to drink a lot. That was I was on tour with Lita Ford from the Runaways.
Yeah, Little Ford, yeah.
And Lita, a guy named Dusty Watson was the first drummer with Lita, and then Randy came on after that. But that was crazy. We opened for Twisted Sister, and the first tour, Lita's boyfriend was Nikki Sixx.
Okay.
So he'd come out on the road and they get crazy.
These guys are all rock stars already, right?
All rock stars, yeah.
Yeah.
The second tour, Tony Iommi was her boyfriend, who was also her idol. You know, when she was a little girl and playing guitar, Tony Iommi was her.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they were together.
Yeah, so and they used to bring their coke dealer on tour with us, and we'd miss gigs because they wouldn't get out of the hotel room. I couldn't get them out of a room, and we'd miss a gig. They wouldn't just. I mean, it was so crazy back then.
Holy shit! So, oh my god! So what happens? I mean, what happens to the gig? The gig's canceled.
Yeah. They just I call the manager Alan Kovac, who's in L.A. We're in like Chicago or Montana. You know, we toured all over the country. I spent 10 years on tour buses, all over the country. Back I've been every single state except for Alaska, and you know, the manager, and he says, well, you know, cancel the gig. We'll have to get back the deposit, and all these kids would be pissed off. But, you know, a lot of times they didn't care.
Wow, really? They were because the drugs were just
right. So high. Yeah, exactly. They're too high to play anyway.
Oh my god! So they would just hang out and then get on the bus and go to the next town.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A couple days later, you know. And you know, I never got crazy. You know, I'm a mellow guy, so I would deal with it the best I could. But you know, you can't yell at these rock stars or be crazy with them. You know, that doesn't work.
Oh my god! Because you know, I can only imagine the level of that rock stardom is like if you don't give a fuck, you don't give a fuck, man. You know what I mean? Because you know, with all the trappings, you know, and the level of, you know, you're a level up from everyday people, man. You're a rock star, and if you're an important kind of rock star, it's like if I don't want to play, then shit, you know.
Yeah, the thing about Lita wasn't a rock star yet. She hung out, you know, with the rock star boyfriends, but she wasn't a rock star, even though. We toured a lot, and she was selling records. It's not like she ever.
Right? Yeah. She never broke that.
Yeah, one of the bigger bands I was with that broke big was Air Supply.
You managed Air Supply?
I didn't manage. I was a production manager.
Okay. It
was the first tour I've ever
toured
been on. It was 1980. I was. In 78, I moved from Columbus, Ohio to California to run a rehearsal studio.
Okay.
That one of my buddies' father owned. They got signed to a record deal, and they were going on tour. They brought me out from Ohio to manage their studio.
Uh-huh.
So I slept on a couch. The first band I ever met was Chaka Khan and Rufus.
Yeah.
I worked with them.
Oh my God.
The Knack, when they were huge.
Wait. Sorry. Wait a minute. So, how does it feel fucking seeing Chaka Khan sing, man?
You know what? It was fucking incredible. Except also it's the 80s. So in the 80s, there was lots of cocaine.
Okay.
and she did lots of cocaine.
Oh, did that affect the voice?
Well, it didn't affect her voice so much as she would pull up in a limo. The band would be on stage, Rufus practicing, jamming.
Uh-huh.
She'd kind of walk in, look around, walk out, and leave. Kind of like the leader, just gone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I really liked working with those guys, and they were cool. They taught me how to eat sushi, which I never did before.
Uh-huh.
And
So
I got.
was that the first time you went to Asia and stuff like that?
No. I didn't go. I only was a U.S. production manager.
Okay.
So I didn't tour the world with them. It was their first U.S. tour, and one of my buddies from high school was a head of security for the N.W.A.
Okay.
So
they're American, right?
America, the N.W.A, My Sharona.
Yeah. Those guys are American. Yeah.
Yeah, they had the #1 song and album. They thought they were going to be the next Beatles.
Yeah.
They acted like the Beatles, but they weren't. But
how was the rest of that album? Nothing great.
Oh, it sold, I don't know, 10, 20 million records.
No, but I mean the rest of the album, the other songs in the album.
Yeah, they had maybe 2 hits.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't last long, and a lot of it was because the lead singer Doug Fieger was an asshole, and he didn't like press, and he didn't treat the press right. So any time the press had an opportunity to fuck with them, they did.
Oh yeah, well, yep.
Yeah, he ruined a lot of stuff for the group. But so my friend, his name was Tico Bob. He was their head of security.
Okay.
And they had a really major agent named Bob Ring, a William Morris agency, biggest rock agency at the time. He was the biggest rock agent in the world at the time.
William Morris was originally a rock agency for rock bands?
No. William Morris is 100 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, but they when rock started, they got right into it.
Okay.
But this guy was a huge agent. And my friend, Tico Bob, got to be friendly with this Bob Ring, the agent. The agent was suicidal at the time. His wife left him, and he was eating like tons of Quaaludes, and he was wanting to kill himself. So my buddy Bob, Tico Bob, got to be really friendly with him and helped him stay alive, basically. He was his buddy and, didn't let him go off the deep end. So because of that, this Bob Ring gives him the job as a road manager for Air Supply.
Okay.
Now, this guy's never been on a tour before, as a road manager, let alone, and the reason he was head of security for the N.W.A, he was a limo driver before that.
Right.
And he picked up the band in Atlanta, and he was drunk. This is my buddy Bob, Tico Bob.
Yeah.
So he's drunk, driving a limo for the N.W.A, picks up the lead singer and the manager, wrecks the car. But they liked him so much, and he was a big black guy. They liked him so much, they hired him that, after he wrecks it, as the head of security for the group.
I guess we were having fun inside the car,
Exactly. Whatever it was.
Whatever it was.
So he calls me. I'm in California playing these little clubs, working at the rehearsal studio.
This is Tico Bob.
Tico Bob.
Okay.
We were in our high school band together, and so and we played football together, wrestled together. We were just, he was like the first black guy I ever met in junior high.
Yeah.
But we were friends, always friends, and so we
back in Ohio.
Yeah, we're in Ohio.
Wow,
I just moved out to California. So it's like 1979. I'm here for a year. And I'm playing in some clubs, but I'm playing Lost in Love. No. First, this is before Air Supply. He calls me and he says, "Hey, Gary, this band called the N.W.A, they want me to come work for them. Who are they? Whatever." I said, "Man, they got the #1 record in the world right now, My Sharona."
Wow, shit.
So he takes the gig. Does a whole tour. About a year later, he calls me back and says, "Hey, Gary, this agent, Bob Ring, wants me to be the road manager for Air Supply. And I can't, I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what to do." He said, "Why don't you come out as a production manager?" Because I was the only guy he knew that knew anything about production, but I was never on tour either. I just was running a rehearsal studio, with my sound system. I got like a 24 channel board and I'm mixing in a rehearsal studio. So me and him get hired with Air Supply. He's the road manager. I'm the production manager. 3 buses, 3 semis full of equipment.
God.
And neither of us has ever been on the road. No experience.
You and Tico Bob.
Tico Bob, yeah.
Oh my God. So wait. I always before you continue, just a sidestep.
Yeah.
Who organizes all of that to get the fucking trucks, the fucking
Me.
You?
Me. Oh, I did it all. What you have to do first, you have to hire a sound company, a lighting company, a staging company, a trucking company, a security company.
And it doesn't matter if these guys don't know each other. You're just hiring them.
No, not at all. I mean, they're all competing against each other for work.
Right.
So because of my cousin Jerry Heller, who's out here in California, and he knows everybody.
Right.
He says, "Hey, call Ricky Farr at TFA for sound. Call so-and-so for lights. Call so-and-so for staging." So he turns me on, and the managers of Air Supply, it was they were called Bestel and Reynolds, Fred and Lance, and very nice guys, but also not a lot of experience in big-time management. But Air Supply is starting to take off.
Yeah.
Lost in Love, All Out of Love, and I'm playing these songs in the clubs, and then Tico Bob calls me to say,
Is this just from a first album?
What's that?
All those hits were from their first album or something during that time?
They did an album in Australia.
Okay, right, yeah.
First American album.
Yeah.
But they got signed to a Clive Davis in Arista.
Oh, he discovered Air Supply?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he didn't discover them. They were already getting popular.
Okay.
And so what I would have to do as a production manager, I would have to advance every show, meaning we got 30 shows over 2 months or 3 months. So you got to call
you are production manager or road manager?
I'm production manager.
Okay.
So I'm in charge of all the production. First one in, last one out.
God damn.
Bob is in charge of the band. The band in the hotels. So he's with the band all the time. They're in a hotel. We drive the bus into some city, 7:00 in the morning. There's 12 union road crew hands waiting for us. Okay. Right. So
in every venue?
Every venue, it's called advancing. So I have to advance every show. So so back then, no computers or anything. So, you call him, you got a sheet. This is the promoter. He tells you who the caterer is. You give him a contract of what you want backstage. I want Jack Daniels. I want tequila, I want M&Ms, whatever it is. You talk to the caterer. This is the food we want for the meals.
So who's paying for all of this?
The promoter pays for everything, okay? Because the promoter is already has all his people that do this anyway. So what happens is the band gets usually a 50% deposit on that goes to the agent, and the agent holds on to it until after the gig is over, and after everything is settled. The
first 50%.
The group already has 50%.
Okay, and then the rest.
So if the promoter cancels, for some dumb reason, at least you got 50% of what you were supposed to make.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that. So we had to learn so fast.
So even the truck, the rent, the light rental, the stage rental, all of that, the promoter will pay for that.
No. What we would do?
That's what I asked.
No. For the
The
you kind of work a deal with the not the band's money, but between the agent and the promoter. So we didn't have to. We hire them, but we didn't pay them. They got paid weekly through the agency, and the promoter would have his own people there because there's a lot of pre-sales on tickets.
Yeah.
On these shows, and a lot of them were sold out already. So, and again, I wasn't in charge of any of the money stuff.
Right.
I was kind of in charge of personnel, and
you were like the foreman.
Yeah, I was kind of like the foreman. Exactly.
Yeah.
I first in, last one out.
Right.
Every gig.
Yeah. The sergeant.
Yeah, and I was in charge of sound check, which was cool too.
Oh,
the band had his own people, but I was there messing around on the microphones, playing their guitars,
yeah,
all this stuff, and we lasted 3 years. We did 3 years of touring, and eventually, after the second year, we had a gig in Cleveland, Ohio, which is my hometown, a place called the Front Row Theater, and the opening act didn't show up.
Okay.
So the promoter knew me from Columbus because I was kind of a big shot player in Columbus.
Right.
He says, Gary, why don't you open the show? And the band really didn't even know I played. I mean, I never anything.
Yeah.
So at the last minute, I grab one of their guitars. They say it's okay. I open the show, and I go over really well. I do Stairway to Heaven, American Pie.
Wow, you played the whole Stairway?
Yeah. I do it in my own version.
Okay.
But it's good,
Yeah.
And Satisfaction. I know what songs work because I've been playing in clubs my whole life.
Right. Okay.
So I do like a 20-minute set. It goes over great. Also, I'm in Cleveland with a lot of my family and friends. So I get to open 10 more shows as the opening act for Air Supply.
Oh my God. That's so cool, man.
Yeah,
and Cleveland is known to be a rock and roll town, right?
Yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's kind of
God. And so how are the guys in Air Supply? I mean, was that their first American tour or something?
Their first American tour.
Wow.
And they were great. They were great guys to work with, especially the lead singer, Russell Hitchcock. Nice guy. We got to be really good friends. We're still Facebook friends. And anytime they're playing anywhere in the country, if I have somebody that, they say, hey, can you get me tickets? He always gets them backstage. I send and he always takes care of my people. So he's good. The other guy, Graham Russell, who's the tall, blonde-haired, he writes all the songs, and he's a little more cool.
He's what?
He's a little more quiet and subdued.
Yeah.
He's from Sherwood Forest in England. He's English, and Russell is Australian.
Sherwood Forest.
It was all Australian band. They were all Australian. But as the years went, they kind of replaced people, and things changed. Yeah,
and that voice, right?
That's that voice.
It's like such a unique voice. I'm not. To me, during that time, I was like maybe 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
So I was already aware of music. In the grocery, in the taxi cab, and it would be Air Supply and Rod Stewart and all of that, in the Philippines, because we would, even though it was martial law, somehow rock and roll had seeped in, and the government really didn't care about, because it was American music. We're like, oh, the Americans are cool. You can play their music, And
they did 8 top 10 song hits in a row. I mean, they were doing really fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of saw the end of it too. And then
did they break up?
No, they didn't break up, but they were blackballed from the industry.
Oh shit! What happened there?
Here's what happened. This is kind of a cool story.
Oh my god!
You ever hear of a guy named Don Arden?
Yes,
Like Sharon
he's
Arden.
Sharon Osbourne's dad.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Don Arden was a gangster. He was just an out and out English thug gangster.
Fuck.
And he came in and stole the band from their original managers, Bestel and Reynolds. He kind of did a Suge Knight, you know? I mean, he just kind of gangstered his
He
gig.
muscled his way in there.
He muscled his way in. And I worked for him. My last gig was when he took over, and we had a gig in Hawaii, and that was my last gig with them. But what he did, he threatened Clive Davis.
Shit.
And Clive Davis.
And he lived here in LA, or
Yeah, he was in Beverly Hills, huge manager in Beverly Hills.
But he's English.
He was managing Black Sabbath. Yeah, he's one of the old school managers.
Okay.
And my cousin Jerry Heller was the agent for ELO and Black Sabbath when he managed him. So Jerry told me what a crazy guy he was, and they used to threaten each other all the time because Jerry was crazy too.
Shit.
You know, Jerry carried guns all the time, so they would threaten each other all the time. But when he threatened Clive Davis, that was the end of Air Supply's kind of original career.
He was their manager. He was their manager at that time when he.
Don Arden was the manager.
Okay.
And he threatened Clive Davis, and Clive Davis basically cut those guys off in the industry as far as any new hits, new albums.
Yeah.
After that, all they did were greatest hits, or they could tour, but no labels would re-sign them.
So was Clive Davis there on
He ran Arista Records.
Oh, and they were on Arista.
It was on Arista, exactly.
Oh, okay. Wow, man. Shit.
Yeah,
you fucking
all that.
When you threaten the boss, man, what do you expect, dude?
He threatened me too. He threatened me, Don Arden.
What?
He owed me $5,000 from work, man. And he wasn't going to pay me.
Fuck.
Or maybe $3,000, I don't know. So I took him to small claims court, and he threatened me, but I didn't give a fuck, you know.
Yeah.
So how it ended up, his assistant was a guy named Pat Siciliano, Italian guy who I knew and was friends with for years before he worked for Don Arden. So I knew this guy.
Okay.
So between me and Pat, Pat got me paid the day before we were going to go to court. So that was good.
Yeah. Well, hey, you got lucky, man.
I did get lucky. Well, I would have won in small claims court. He wouldn't have showed up. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, but no, maybe it saved you the hassle of all of that shit.
Yeah. It's not the first time I've been threatened.
Oh man. So okay. So So late 70s, Ramones come out, the British new wave stuff comes out. What was your thing with that?
So 73 is when I quit Air Supply. 74, 75, I started road managing different acts. Lita Ford was one of them.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Lorber, Fusion. I don't know if you ever heard of him. No. Great keyboard player. I went on tour with him. But the whole time I'm singing at this club in Woodland Hills called Pickwick's Pub. I started there in the early 80s, 81 or 82.
Uh-huh.
And I'm always playing. Every time I get off tour, I always go back and always play. So this band kind of approached me at Pickwick's Pub called Hurricane. And they just started. It was the younger brothers of Quiet Riot. Rudy Sarzo's younger brother, Tony.
Oh, wow.
And Carlos Cavazzo's younger brother. It was Robert Sarzo, Rudy's brother.
Yeah.
And Tony Cavazzo, which is Carlos Cavazzo's brother.
Where's Cavazzo from? Is he Cuban too, or is he Mexican?
No, Sarzo's Cuban.
Yeah, Sarzo's Cuban.
Yeah, Rudy and Robert are Cuban. Cavazos, I think, are Mexican.
They're Mexican, right?
I think. Yeah.
Man, what a cool band Quiet Riot was, man.
Yeah, they were great. We spent a lot of time with those guys. We opened for them. They were fun guys. But so I didn't want to be a road manager anymore. I didn't want to be a production manager anymore. I wanted to be a manager.
Okay.
To keep moving up.
Uh-huh.
So I got the opportunity to manage this band called Hurricane. So it's like the first band I was a personal manager.
Right.
And so it was great. I got him a kind of a small deal with a company called Green World, which is part of Enigma, which was part of Capitol. So it had distribution.
Yeah.
And these guys were, it was a heavy metal band, back like Motley Crue and those guys, but
with the big hair and stuff.
Big hair, good looking,
yeah,
tight pants. We played up and down the Sunset Strip.
Shit. Okay. This is getting fun, man. Okay, now we're in the Sunset Strip years, dude. You've been through it all, man. It's like me. It's like when when friends come over from the Philippines or wherever, and then they like rock music. I always bring them to the whiskey and show them like the plaque, like on the sidewalk. And it's like all these bands started, not just played here, but started here. This is their origin, their gig. I mean, their venue of origin.
The Rainbow.
Yeah, the Rainbow. Oh,
Rainbow, Roxy, Whiskey, Troubadour.
So when did it's like it's funny. Even my dad, because I'm not sure. I think the Doors movie was playing on TV, and then there were scenes, of course, from the whiskey.
Whiskey, yeah.
And then my dad was either just in the room or walking past the TV. It's like, oh, Whiskey Go. I went there. I'm like, what? It's like, what do you say? You went to the Whiskey Go? Yeah, when we went to LA in 1969, I think he was here.
Yeah, that's when I was there. 69.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. The girls are dancing.
I might have been there the same day your dad was.
Yeah, man.
I might be your dad. Who knows?
Yeah, it's fun to know snippets like that, because to him it was nothing. To him, probably it was just a nightclub. The most famous nightclub in LA. But of course, for me, it's deeper than that. It's like the Doors were there, man. You don't. Yeah.
Everyone was there.
Wow. So
we would go up and down and play all the gigs on Sunset Strip. We'd walk the streets and give out tickets, with the girls and the band rehearse, and it was just so much fun.
Was this during the weekend? During the week?
Weekend. It's like this is our full-time gig now. I'm a full-time manager. They're a full-time band. We had a rehearsal place in Burbank to work out, and everybody got endorsements. Jay got Tama endorsements, and I think Token cymbals, and Robert and Tony got PV, and so I worked all those deals, helping everybody get what they needed, and we got boots, and we're doing okay. The first album, we sold about 200,000 units.
Wow.
We didn't break out anything big.
Yeah.
The second record, I got two guys to co-produce the record. Bob Ezrin and Mike Klink.
I recognize Mike Klink's name, but I'm not sure.
Mike Klink just finished the first Guns N' Roses record, produced it.
What do you mean? There's a new album?
Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, he recorded it?
He produced it. He was the producer.
Okay.
Welcome to the Jungle, Mr. Brownstone. That was all Klink. And he was a friend of mine. So, and it was before it hit. So I got him and Bob Ezrin.
And Bob Ezrin did The Wall.
Bob Ezrin did The Wall. He did Alice Cooper. He did Kiss.
He did Aerosmith, right?
Huh?
He did Aerosmith in when they came back from rehab.
Yeah, he did one of the Aerosmiths.
Yeah.
But he was a friend of mine. His daughter worked for me. She was like an intern and stuff.
Holy
So
shit!
I kind of knew these people as friends, and they were way bigger time than I was, but they liked them. So they co-produced the record, but we never got any hits. There was a lot of competition at that time. There was Guns N' Roses, there was Motley Crue, there was Poison, and we'd open for Poison, we'd open for Warrant, things like that.
Yeah.
But our lead singer, Kelly, who now has been with Foreigner for about the last 10 years, he was a great singer, but he kind of was like too many other people. He was kind of like Mick Jagger. He was kind of like Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
He wasn't that original. He had a great voice. But we're doing good. We're touring all over the United States. We're opening for a group called Stryper. I don't know if you know Stryper.
Oh, yeah, Stryper, yeah.
Christian band.
Yeah.
We did a whole tour with them. We'd open for Gary Moore. We'd open for Iron Maiden. So we toured all over the U.S. And things are really going good, and all of a sudden, and now we're in 1988. So all of a sudden, the band comes over to my house, and they fire me.
Oh, fuck.
Out of nowhere.
What the fuck?
Rod Stewart's managers stole them from me, basically.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Arnold Stiefel and Randy Phillips. Through a friend of mine who was, kind of Rod Stewart's road manager. He thought this was going to be a great band, so he got Stiefel and Phillips to come over and basically steal them from me. Which they
did.
So
and nobody cares, whatever. It's like I can make you bigger star than him.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna make you a fucking star. You're gonna open for Rod Stewart.
Oh, okay.
And I said, guys, you're a heavy metal band. You can't open for Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart doesn't have heavy metal bands opening for him, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the Stiefel Phillips got all these huge acts. You're on the bottom of the totem pole. Now, what I always thought was Arnold Stiefel, who is still Rod Stewart's manager, I think, is very gay.
Okay.
And I always thought he wanted our lead singer. I thought the whole thing was about him having our lead singer, who wasn't gay at all, But, I mean, that's how warped it was back then.
Oh, my God.
And I put about $80,000 of my own money into the band.
Oh, shit.
Paying rent, buying this, buying that. I really believed it was my first band. I really believed we were going to make it. It was going to be huge because everybody else was blowing up. Motley Crue, Poison, Guns N' Roses, all this stuff. And we were good, but we weren't that good.
Yeah.
And so I called my cousin, Jerry Heller. I say, Jerry, these motherfuckers just fired me.
Shit.
Rod Stewart's fucking managers. He said, fuck those guys. I want you to come work with me with Eazy-E and N.W.A.
Oh, my God, man. See, that's like a perfect example, man. It's like a door gets slammed.
Yeah, right.
But a fucking window is just open already.
Yeah. and the thing about Jerry was, while I'm managing Hurricane, he would come over to my house and play me cassettes of Straight Outta Compton, Boys in the Hood, Gangster, Fuck the Police. I mean, all these stuff.
The demos?
Demos before
Holy
before they were records. And I thought he was out of his fucking mind.
What did you think when you first heard it?
I said, you were crazy. He said, you can't say fuck the police. You're not going to be able to tour anywhere. You're not going to be able to play this on the radio.
No, but what I mean, how about you? What was your reaction to the music itself?
Well, I wasn't a rap fan. Okay. I'm a classic rock guy. I always have been. I wasn't a heavy metal fan either.
Right.
I'm always a Beatles, Eagles, kind of guy. Okay. Still am. So it wasn't my favorite music. I thought it was okay. It wasn't like I was against rap.
Yeah.
But I wasn't into, but he would play the hardcore gangster rap, which was brand new on the West Coast. And really, they weren't even really doing it in New York yet.
Yeah.
It was Run DMC.
But hip hop was already not really in the mainstream, but in
It was just starting.
It was just starting.
The whole New York thing was starting, and the West Coast, all we really had was Ice-T, kind of was for us,
right?
But he would play all this stuff, man. I thought he was out of his fucking mind. He said, Gary, you watch. You're not gonna believe what's gonna happen. This is gonna be the biggest music ever. This band is gonna be the Rolling Stones of rap.
Shit, man. So this is all already when he lets you listen to this, he already saw them play live and all of that.
No, this is even before he saw them play. Well, it's right at the beginning. So the first he heard them, because they didn't have a lot of live gigs, back in those days. Okay. And he was already, the thing is, he was already managing the World Class Wrecking Crew, which was the group that Dr. Dre was in, and DJ Yella was in.
Oh, okay.
And Alonzo was in. If you saw the movie, remember in the movie where they had this band that, and Jerry was the manager of that band.
Oh.
See, he was managing some of these new acts.
Yeah.
Because he was friends with a guy who did all the pressing of all the records. I can't remember his name right now, but he called Jerry and said, man, you don't know what's going on down here. Every week these guys are driving down from Compton, and I'm printing up 20,000, EP singles, and they're selling them at the swap meets.
That's in the movie. That's in the movie, right?
It's in the movie. It's all in the movie. It's really kind of what was going on.
Yeah.
And so, during this time, I'm managing Hurricane. He's playing me this stuff. I'm thinking he's crazy. And then, it's like I see the whole thing happen. He gets him the record deal. Everybody passes. All the major guys he knew, Joe Smith, all the guys from the major labels, none of them wanted to touch this.
So he really believed in them, huh?
He totally believed in this.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And he loved it. And him and Easy were like, it was like fucking Laurel and Hardy. I mean, these guys, they were together all the time. It was the funniest thing you ever saw.
Really?
And
they got along.
So, very well, very well. They got along almost the whole time until the end, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's already.
But at this time, Jerry's he's in the music business. Yeah. He knows everybody. He knows all the lawyers. He knows how to do contracts. He knows everything. Yeah. So he finally gets him a gig with Priority Records, Brian Turner. And the reason he goes to Brian Turner is because they have offices in the same building. It's a CNN building on Sunset and
yeah.
So he knew him from that. The only hit Brian Turner had was the California Raisins. Do you know what the California Raisins are?
Yeah, the song.
What song?
The song that the Raisins sing?
No, California Raisins.
Oh, the Raisins itself, the company.
No, the California Raisins was a commercial where these raisins did they did Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Yeah.
Like the raisins, I mean, it was crazy. It had nothing to do with rock and roll or
yeah. Oh my God! Wow.
He did compilation records. So he put a bunch of records. But Brian and Jerry took Brian to a show. He sold him on it. Brian signed the group, and now we have worldwide distribution.
Fuck. Wow, he had worldwide distribution? Wow.
Oh yeah, through Capitol. And so so this is all before, I'm still with Hurricane. All that stuff. So when Hurricane fires me, Jerry says, fuck those guys. We're doing a U.S. tour, and I want you to go out and be the production manager on the N.W.A. tour.
Shit.
Because you know how to do this stuff. I can trust you.
Yeah.
You can be my eyes on the road.
Yeah.
And so he hires me, and he hires a guy named Atron Gregory as the road manager.
Right.
Now, Adrian Gregory is the manager of the Digital Underground.
Oh, okay.
Remember the Digital Underground?
Yeah.
With what was that guy? The guy Hoppity Hop or
The guy with the big nose.
with the big nose? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also Tupac was in that group.
Yeah, he was a dancer.
Yeah, and Atron was was Tupac's manager until he died.
Oh, okay.
So this is who I was on the road with, who was a great guy. So me and Atron, kind of like with Air Supply with me and Tico Bob,
Yeah.
same thing. But now we're with the most dangerous group in the world.
God damn.
Everybody hates us.
God
Everywhere we
damn.
go, it's like N.W.A. and we did Fuck the Police. So already the FBI has contacted the record company and said they don't want any of the police to show up at any of the shows. I mean, it was crazy.
Was Fuck the Police the first single?
No. There was no singles. It wasn't like
it just everyone just knew the song.
Yeah. They
my
just
God.
Boys in the Hood was the first thing you heard.
Right.
And the thing about Easy, and with the movie, 75% of it is true. 25% are total lies.
Okay.
But you had Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and Tamika Woods as producers of the movie, so you got what they wanted people to see.
Right.
But a lot of that wasn't true. So we did a tour and we went to England and we went to France. We did some
How was
shows.
it in Europe? Were the police there more offended than Americans?
No, nobody was offended. Hardly anybody was really offended, I mean, a lot of it was hype, but
really?
Europe had no problems. They didn't really know that well about the group. It wasn't like we were so popular there as we were here.
Right.
But we sold 20,000 seats in Oakland, 20,000 seats at the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Wow.
We did 20,000 at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. So we were selling a lot of tickets and selling a lot of records.
Were you still getting hassled by the
You
man?
know what? There was two white guys on tour,
Okay.
me and the lighting guy, and everybody else was black.
Okay.
We had a road case with guns in it.
Oh my God.
Uzis and the shit with the red.
Shit.
The
lasers.
The lasers. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But luckily nobody got shot. But yeah. So
But then, for a group like that, especially if you go, I don't know, to the South, it's like you got to defend yourself, man.
We did the South. We did all over the U.S. And
did you run into any racist trouble and stuff like that?
You know what? Most of the crowds were whites anyway. It wasn't and the racist stuff. I can't remember all of it now, but it didn't seem like we had that much trouble. The biggest problems were really with the guys and girls. Messing around with girls and we had a couple problems with that.
Oh, with what do you mean? With groupies and stuff?
Yeah, groupies and underage.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, these guys.
Yeah.
They're they've never been out of California, most of them ever.
Yeah.
And now we're on planes and like our first gig, it was in Nashville, and they all got kicked off the first flight they were on in Phoenix. Everyone, I'm in Nashville, set up, waiting at the airport for them to come off the plane. None of them show up.
Because they never reached.
They got kicked off in Phoenix because the smallest girl, Baby D from JJ Fad. Remember that girl group JJ Fad, Supersonic?
Yeah.
See, so because we took groups with us.
Right.
Kwame, Kid and Play.
It would be more. So what would be a typical show of that? Was it like a variety show or
it was like a variety show? Yeah.
Yeah, like the 60s. How
like
they did
60s,
it.
Right. Like Big Park touring. So we'd have 5 or 6 groups. Maybe even have a local rap group open.
Right.
and then get them on. And I'm the stage manager, production manager. I get them on and off stage. N.W.A. is always the the stars.
Yeah.
And so, and it was like bizarre. The whole thing was bizarre. I was like the white guy that would have to deal with the police, the security,
Yeah.
city council, the mayor. I mean, whoever was worried about shit,
Yeah.
I'm always the one talking them down. And,
It's like, don't worry, these people are not savages.
Exactly. Even
These
though
people they're normal people, man.
I'm telling you, man, it was so much fun. And I was so angry from getting fired from Hurricane
Yeah.
that every day I would listen all day to N.W.A. and Eazy-E. Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucking name, Ice Cube. I was just, so I get into it so much that also at sound checks, there's 5 mics. I'm up there rapping before the band shows up.
Oh my God, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I tell you, I've been in 2 documentaries already.
Uh-huh.
One called Facing Suge Knight,
Okay.
and one called Death Row Chronicles that have already been shown. I already did an interview for a new documentary coming out on Eazy-E. It'll come out sometime this year. I'm not sure when, but it'll be probably the most accurate documentary on what really went on with N.W.A.
Wow. So let's talk about them, man. I mean, and not them. I don't really want to, go deep into their personalities, but as musicians, were they unique? How was their chemistry? What was their chemistry like?
Musicians.
Huh?
None of them were musicians.
No, but I mean, in their own way. I mean, as rappers, or were they?
They were great.
They were all beginners, right?
They were all beginners. Dre was amazing as a producer and as because he was on the turntables for a long time before even N.W.A. So,
right. Yeah.
he was state of the art. He was the number one kind of producer at that time.
Wow.
Yella was a great engineer too, and a good kind of co-producer. But as far as rapping goes, Ice Cube was unbelievable.
Shit.
Great writer, great rapper. MC Ren, hard motherfucker. Also great rapper. Dre was great at what he did. But Eazy never wanted to fucking be on stage.
Yeah.
He never wanted to rap. Eazy wanted to be rich, famous. He wanted to be Berry Gordy. He wanted to own his own record company, and he wanted to get out of the drug business, which is what he was in.
Right.
He was in the crack business.
Right.
And he was a big dealer.
Wow.
And he wanted to get lead because he saw a lot of his friends dead, jail. So he saw an opportunity to clean up his act, get into real business, and Jerry helped him do that. So between the two of them, Eazy was conceptualize things. Dre would musicalize things. Jerry would business-wise things. So everybody was kind of in their own lane.
But combining everything, it would be all of
magic.
that.
It was magic.
It would be magic, yeah.
It was magic. I'm telling you, when it was so great. And but like all things, when Suge Knight came in the picture,
man, that was bad news.
Suge Knight was the bodyguard for the DOC. DOC would have been the greatest rapper maybe ever.
Okay.
He was that good.
Who is he? I don't even know.
You do your homework on the DOC.
DOC, okay.
Yeah, DOC, yeah. He was with us. He was from Houston. His name is Tracy Curry is his name.
Uh-huh.
And he did It's a Diggy Diggy Doctor. We had a great record, his solo album, and we did a video one night. We did 2 videos in a day. And that night, he fell asleep at the wheel, got into an accident, in Woodland Hills, flew out of his car. Car turned over.
Oh,
had a
shit.
convertible. He flew out. He didn't have a seatbelt on, which saved his life, actually.
Wow.
He flew out of the car, but he fucked up his throat. Out of everything on his body,
Oh, my
he fucked
God.
up his throat. So Jerry called me. Jerry found out that night. I went right to the hospital. I was the first one at the hospital, and it was horrible. But
What happened? Why his throat? He landed on his
he
neck or
landed
something?
on his face or throat. I don't know
Oh,
what
my
happened.
God.
But then he started talking like this. And
Oh.
like this. Exactly. He went from he was fast. He was quick. He was amazing. Wait till you hear him. Wait till you hear him.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
produced all this stuff. So
Yeah.
it was amazing. But he smoked a lot of pot and he drank a lot of beer and so he wouldn't go to rehab. We had a physical therapist for his throat,
Uh-huh.
and he never stopped smoking. He never stopped drinking. He really didn't help himself when he should have.
Yeah.
So that was the end of his rap career.
Wow.
But what he did, he brought in Suge Knight. And Suge moved in to Dre and tried to convince Dre to leave Ruthless and go with him.
Right.
And that's kind of what the Straight Outta Compton movie, you saw a lot of that there.
Yeah.
But
That was some scary business, dude.
it got real scary.
Shit.
It got real scary. It got so scary that we had we started in this real shitty one-room office that Jerry's brother had a LA Times in an industrial complex, a little kind of like he gave to paper boys. And we had one phone. It was shitty. Once we started making lots of money, we moved into a beautiful offices in Woodland Hills. Beautiful.
Yeah.
But Suge started coming by threatening us. So we had to start working out of my house, in Sherman Oaks. So, nobody would come to the office. So it got to be scary. And then Jerry brought in this Israeli terrorist named Mike Klein. I mean, he wasn't really a terrorist, but he's like a Mossad.
Mossad.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this guy was from the Israeli army.
God
And this
damn.
guy, the first time I ever saw a picture of him, he was holding 2 decapitated heads. He was in his uniform, his army uniform.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw him. So Jerry brought him in to deal with Suge.
Wait. I gotta ask. It's like, where the fuck did Jerry meet this guy, man?
You know what? He had in the same complex that we had the LA Times thing, he had some kind of other business going on.
Okay.
So Jerry knew him from that. He was a businessman, very
Right.
smart, very shrewd, but also he had a security company. So if anybody,
Oh.
like if you want to hire like Tom Cruise or somebody, some big time people need serious security,
Right.
Mike Klein would come in. And so he brought in Animal and Big Mike. These guys are like 400-pound, monsters.
Oh my God. Animal and Big Mike.
Right. Yeah. Great
Okay,
guy.
how big was Big Mike, dude?
Big Mike played professional football for a while, but he didn't have 1 inch of fat on him. He was probably about 6'5", 280 or something. I mean, he was just solid.
Oh my God.
And he always wears sunglasses, so you never saw his eyes.
You don't know where he's looking.
You don't know. You don't know what's going on behind that.
Yeah.
And he always had these steel boots. He had these steel boots he always wore. Yeah, one time just to fuck with me, just kicked me in my shin.
Oh my God.
So I could feel what it felt like. It's unbelievable. An Animal.
Shit.
Now, me and Animal got to be great friends over the years. Animal, after N.W.A, he was David Lee Roth's bodyguard. So he toured with Van Halen.
My God.
Ooh, come to Popo. Yeah. So but Mike Klein, he took care of business right away. He got right in Suge's face, and We were never threatened after that.
Wow.
But
Wait, so did you witness this?
you know what? I was in one room. They were in another.
Oh, okay.
And the room I was in, Suge walked in, closed the door behind him, and walked right up to me. And he was one of our bodyguards. So, we knew him as a bodyguard. He was a friendly guy and everything. So he goes from one of our body. Oh, okay.
Wait, you got cut off. Sorry.
Yeah, something just happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was saying,
he goes.
He was one of our bodyguards. Next thing we know, he's stealing Dre away from us.
Shit.
And so, so what happened was
the
like in the
Mossad guy.
You saw in the movie where Dre calls up Easy and says, "Let's meet at the studio, and we'll take care of the problem." The whole death row problem.
Right.
Easy goes to the studio without his bodyguards. Dre's not there, but Suge and all these Bloods are there waiting for Easy. And they have a contract for him to sign over Dre, Michelle, and the DOC to Suge. And these guys got ball bats and clubs, and they threatened to kill him, kill his mother, and kill Jerry Heller all at the same time.
Holy shit.
So in the movie, it shows that they beat him up, but they never touched him. Easy signed it, and then the next day, we did a press release on really what happened and all.
Oh, but, really? You went public with it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But at that point, Suge had a lawyer, and they went to Interscope, and they talked Jimmy Iovine from Interscope into signing, Death Row. To having Death Row as a label. So it was too late for us to fight it. So what we did was Easy ended up getting a override on, on all the Death Row records. So he got 3 points on everything that Dre did on the Chronic, Eminem, Snoop Dogg.
Oh my God.
So instead of fighting it, they let it go. Yeah. We got an override. In the time, we had Bone Thugs and Harmony, which was a big group at the time.
Yeah.
So, so we were fine. We're going to keep moving. Can I take a short break and run over
man.
Real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, man.
Hey, sisters and brothers, I have a new sponsor. My friends Gary and Marilu from alkalinewatersogood.com. They are international Kangen water distributors. Kangen water is delicious water created from Enagic's innovative water technology. Enagic is a 56-year-old Japanese company with 40 offices in 23 countries, including an office in Manila and 8 offices in the U.S. And it is the leading manufacturer of alkaline ionizers and water filtration machines in the world. Not only do these devices filter your tap water, but they also produce ionized alkaline and acidic waters through electrolysis. These waters can be used for various purposes, including drinking, cooking, beauty, and cleaning. Can you imagine never buying bottled water again? The plastic in bottled water often contains BPA and other chemicals which are proven to be hazardous to your health. And how much fun is it lugging cases of it from the market, recycling it, and plastic is an environmental nightmare. According to Gary, it's also a great way to add an additional income stream. He's been selling machines for over 12 years internationally, and everyone needs the healthiest water in the world. So folks, if you have any questions about Kangen water, check out their website at alkalinewatersogood.com. That's alkalinewatersogood.com. Or you can email them at gary@garyballen.com. Gary Ballen with 2 L's.com.
Okay, I'm back, buddy.
Hey, man. Gosh, it's so It's unbelievable, man. That fucking shit. Because that's all. How? What was the rest of the world? Did they know all of this was happening?
Well, some people knew it.
Uh-huh.
And also there was, there's a lot of press at the time. Everybody had publicists. We had publicists, we lawsuits. We were suing them. There was all kind of stuff going on. We filed a RICO statute, organized crime.
Oh, wow.
We had a lawyer from Boston came out who was an expert at, going after gangsters and things like that.
Right.
And so because there was a lot of people involved in this takeover, that shouldn't have done it,
Yeah.
But eventually everything just got settled so we could just kind of move on. And we still had Bone Thugs and Harmony, still selling millions of records. Easy's getting an override on everything Death Row does.
Wow.
And they're doing, hundreds of millions of dollars, and then Easy, we get a call, we're in the office and we get a call from his bodyguards and say, man, Easy we had to call 911 because he couldn't breathe.
Uh-huh.
So they take him to a hospital in Norwalk, which is part of LA.
Yeah.
And he had asthma and he smoked a lot of weed and all, but this was kind of different.
Yeah.
And the next thing we know, they move him to Cedars-Sinai in Beverly Hills, which is a big hospital.
Uh-huh.
And he's got AIDS.
Full-blown AIDS already.
Full-blown. But the thing is, the last time I saw him was a month before he died. 1 month.
Okay.
And what was going on towards the end, like in the movie, Easy's girlfriend, Tamika, was kind of working against Jerry. This Mike Klein that Jerry brought in was working against Jerry.
Yeah.
He kind of moved in as hanging out with Easy all the time.
Right.
And he went from head of security to head of business affairs.
Wow.
In the company. So now Easy isn't talking to Jerry at all. And I'm the go-between. Jerry's still running the company. So whenever there's contracts to be signed, checks to be signed, Jerry would give it to me. I'd go drive over to the deli and meet with Easy and Mike Klein, and Easy would sign whatever he wanted to sign.
Right.
So I kept saying, Easy, please just talk to Jerry, because Jerry was losing his mind because they went through so much together.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of being pushed out.
Wow. Because of the other dude.
Yeah, because of Klein. And also, I think Tamika, there was some deal that Tamika brought to Easy that Jerry just said it was a horrible deal. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It was a game, but it was whatever it was. Jerry knows better and those kind of things. But Tamika kind of started pushing him. And so, Jerry started getting pushed out. And so the last time I saw him was one of these meetings where and he looked fine. He was never, ever looked sick. Yeah. He always went to a regular doctor's appointments, and he had good doctors.
Yeah.
Good doctors. And so to find out that he's got now full-blown AIDS, a month later, he's dead.
My gosh.
So now it's like, what really happened? And, did somebody really inject him with it? And
oh, wow. People were thinking that?
Oh, of course.
Wow.
Some people thought because Suge Knight actually went on the Arsenio Hall show or one of the TV shows and talked about how Easy got injected. I mean, and this is before, it was kind of before it happened or during it, while it happened, whatever it was very strange. Wow. But people thought Tamika did it, because she ended up with the company and all his money. And married him on his deathbed.
Oh shit!
The next day,
she fucking did it, man. and Easy wasn't. He wasn't a playboy. No.
Are you kidding?
No, but I mean,
anything. That's what the problem was. This guy had more women
So,
of every kind of persuasion,
oh my God.
and he never
Damn.
had protection. Oh no, he was the worst. As far as that goes, I've never in my life seen anybody that fucked more than Eazy-E.
So, I mean, so there is an argument that Tamika didn't do it, right? Because he was.
Well, you know what? What happened was there was no autopsy. There was no investigation. Kind of like with Tupac and Biggie,
They just let it go.
Let it go. Another black one dies. Who cares?
Oh my
That's kinda
God.
how, the society rolled there. Another rapper gone, which is good. Yeah, we were devastated. I mean, it's like I loved working for Easy.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time with Easy. He was always great to me, nice to me. Never had a problem with him.
Did you when you were when you first heard their music, were you aware of what they were talking about in their work? Yeah.
Yeah, they were like street reporters.
No, but I mean before you ever heard of N.W.A, were you aware that of police brutality happening in Compton and shit like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I've known that. I'm from the '60s myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I was very anti-Vietnam, anti-war. I protested.
Yeah.
We riot at Ohio State. I was at Kent State the week after those kids got shot.
Fuck.
The next week we went from Columbus and protested up there. When Nixon got inaugurated, we drove from Columbus to Washington, D.C. to protest against Richard Nixon.
Wow.
So I've always known about police brutality and how, the black man always was fucked,
You were already, you were quote unquote woke back then already.
Oh, I was way woke. I'm a liberal American Jewish guy. Okay. I mean, that's how I was, even though I wasn't brought up religious at all.
Right.
But we always kind of supported the blacks.
Yeah.
Back in the day when Martin Luther King and all these guys were marching, there's a lot of Jewish people out there helping them out and working for them. Because look, we got shit over by the Nazis.
Fuck yeah, man. You know how it feels.
We know how it feels. And they were slaves, taken out of Africa, put in boats, whipped, raped. I mean, it was horrible.
And the Jews were slaves too,
Jews were slaves too in Egypt.
Yeah. Man, exactly. I mean, what was
I always knew about that kind of stuff. I had police friends. It wasn't like I hated the police. I just knew there was lots of them were bullies. Bullies. When they went to high school, nobody liked them. So
yeah. Oh my God, it's like the same old story until now, right?
Yeah, same old story. It's a different era. Now we got Donald Trump.
Oh my God, and then because I mean because the when all that N.W.A, the gangster rap, more specifically, came out, it wasn't really a thing in the Philippines. Well, of course, fuck the police would never penetrate during that time. It's like now nobody cares, But during that time, it's like, the censors back in the Philippines be like, no way, man. So
I'll tell you what it was when Rodney King got beat up.
Yeah,
and people actually saw him videotape getting his ass kicked.
Yeah,
that's all of a sudden people's. Oh, I guess it really happens.
Yeah. Oh wow. So that was the thing when they saw it on video.
Oh yeah, our guys used to happen in the hood all the time. All the time. We were at the Arsenio Hall show one day. Easy was on, and we leave the show, and next thing we know, Easy's calling from his car. The police. He's got an 850 BMW, beautiful, expensive car, and he's like 5'2", dressed with a gangster hat on or whatever.
Yeah.
And they pull him over, throw him out of the car, put him on the ground with guns at him, thinking that he stole the car.
Yeah.
It was his car.
Man, driving while black.
Same thing happened to Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh my God.
We gave him a check in Woodland Hills, like $50,000-$60,000 check
Wow.
to go to the bank. The first time they ever got a big check. And they're waiting in line, and somebody calls the police because they look like a bunch of thugs. They're going to rob the bank.
Rob the bank and falling in line.
These guys are going in to cash a huge check. So they throw them on the ground and put guns on them, you know?
Oh my God. Oh, really? They came, they.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that was our world for a long time.
Like fucking get on the ground and all that shit.
Yeah.
Bone Thugs in Harmony?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
That's a whole other story.
Man.
I managed Flesh and Bone from Bone Thugs for
Yeah.
about 12 years. 8 of the years he was in prison.
Holy shit. For what?
Various things, you know.
Wow. Also, he was a bad
gun.
boy.
Yeah, he was so bad. He always had guns. He'd get arrested with guns. He wouldn't shoot anybody, but he'd get arrested, have a gun.
Oh my God.
He one day I'm sitting, it's 4th of July. I'm sitting by a pool. I get a call from the LA Times, and they got my number. They say, hey, would you like to make a statement about your client, who just got arrested? And I didn't know what they're talking about.
He's the lead singer. He's the lead rapper.
No, they're all Flesh and Bone is one of it's Crazy Bone, Lazy Bone, Wishbone, Busy Bone, and Flesh and Bone.
Okay.
He's the oldest one.
Okay.
But he gets arrested because we put him in a real nice place in Granada Hills, like a big compound, with his bodyguards to keep him. And he gets in a fight with the neighbor whose name is Gambino, And so,
oh my God.
Exactly. So police come, they go into the house, they find a gun, take him to jail.
Damn.
We bail him out. 2 days later, he's on top of his house, Flesh, yelling at Gambino, who's next door, telling him he's rapping. He's going to tell him how he's going to kill him, rape his wife.
He's rapping?
He's rapping, and he raps the whole thing. He's just making stuff up.
Oh my God.
Back in jail, okay.
Oh my God.
We get him out. So he's all these things, and finally, he's going to jail, okay? But he's out. So he drives over to his baby's mama's house. He's got a baby's mama, of course.
Right.
Even before the baby's mama's house, this is what happens. We move him out of that place into an apartment in Canoga Park. He's in this apartment, and one of the neighbors comes over, knocks on the door, and brings his friend with him and says, hey, Flesh, man, we just want to meet you. Can we get your autograph? He said, yeah, sure. So he opens the door. These guys come in, and this guy starts looking at Flesh's girlfriend, funny.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, just funny, which probably wasn't anything, okay?
Yeah.
Flesh is now flipping out, and he pulls out a Uzi out of a baby's carriage. He's got a baby's carriage, and his Uzi's in the baby carriage, and he points it at these guys.
Oh my, he's fans.
He's fans, yeah.
Oh my God.
So the fans, of course, run away, and one of the fans tells his girlfriend. Girlfriend calls the cops. SWAT teams comes down and arrest him again. I mean, this went on like nonstop for like maybe a year or two.
Oh my God.
So, he spends a little time. Finally, okay, I get these great lawyers. They know the court system in Van Nuys. So this was the straw that broke the camel's back. So he's got to turn himself in now. So before he turns himself in, he buys diapers, wipes, all this stuff for his baby and the baby's mamas. But he's worried that these guys that he pulled the gun on are going to come after him. So he gets a sawed-off shotgun and puts it on his dashboard while he's driving.
Pointing front.
It's just sitting on the dashboard. No,
okay. Yeah.
So he's driving. I'm in Mammoth skiing. I'm on a ski lift, okay?
Okay.
I get a call on the ski lift.
Okay.
And it's Flesh calling me. He says, Gary, today I'm going to die.
Oh my God.
Today is my day of doom. I walked out. I see all these red dots on my chest. So what happened was he drive over to the baby's mama's house to give them supplies before he turns himself in to jail.
Yeah.
Baby's mama's sister sees him coming, sees the gun, calls the
cops. Oh my God.
SWAT team is back out, and they're in trees now with the guns all pointed at the front door.
They're all snipers.
They're all snipers. A bunch of snipers are waiting for him to shoot him.
Oh my God.
And so I commented, I said, Stan, what's going on, you know? And he kind of explains it, and I said, oh, fuck. He said, look, take off your shirt, okay? Just go, take off your shirt, put your hands up, and walk out, because if not, they're going to come in and kill everybody.
Oh my God.
They're going to kill the baby's mama. They're going to kill the baby.
Oh my God. So wait, when he called you, he went back inside the house?
He went back, and he was in the house when he called me, yeah. He kind of. So I immediately call one of our lawyers.
Okay.
A female lawyer.
This is in L.A.?
This is in L.A. This is all happening in L.A. now.
Okay.
Maybe Hancock Park or somewhere in L.A. And I call this lawyer. She knows some of the cops in that area. So she drives down, 100 miles an hour. She's on the scene. Now there's everybody on the scene. She talks the watch commander into letting her go in and bringing him out. So that's what happened.
Oh my
she
God.
Went in, they let her do it. He came out, and then it was prison. And then it wasn't the LA County Jail anymore.
Oh wow.
Then he spent years in prison. And when he was in prison, I was the only one that would collect calls from him.
Oh shit.
Like the band, the rest of his brothers and his cousin and stuff. And then he kind of completely, forgot about it.
Oh my God.
So that was my life, back in those days.
Was that big news back then?
If you Google Flesh and Bone right now, you'll see it. It'll come up,
Okay.
Flesh and Bone gets arrested,
Oh but my God, so wild, man.
Since he's been out of jail, in jail, well, here's the problem, though. He was a crack baby.
Okay.
He was a crack baby. He's bipolar.
Oh,
and
okay.
His mother was crazier than all of them put together.
Oh my God.
Mama P. I knew his mother, Mama P. They all came out to Cleveland together to Ruthless when we signed them. Originally signed them, Easy signed them. And my job was to take care of them.
Okay.
And they were like fucking animals. They lived off the streets, and they were drug dealers too. And they were like animals, but they were the fucking greatest rappers. And they had this whole new fast flow,
Yeah, that was such a
It
unique thing
was
back then.
unique, and Easy saw that.
Yeah.
So,
that was like the birth of chill rap or something. Really chill, because there's a lot of hip hop nowadays that's like that. It's like really chilled out. It's not. Yeah, they were the first.
And they don't do harmony. They say Bone Thugs and Harmony. There's no harmony, but they're in unison. They're all in unison, and they were great. And again, this was all fun for me. I mean, it was scary, but it was fun. It was cutting edge. It was different.
Yeah.
And all this time this was going on, I'm still playing at the clubs, I'm still playing like Beatles and, Eagles and Rolling Stones.
So what did you work with anyone after Bone Thugs? I mean, what happened to them?
Yeah.
What happened to them?
So what happened was he got out of prison. He got religion. He turned into a Muslim, which was really good for him.
Yeah.
And he cleaned out. So he didn't do any drugs or alcohol or anything in prison.
Oh, yeah.
He got out. He was the most sane and sober of all the group.
Wow.
But these guys have always been fighting with each other. There's two brothers, a cousin. They're all from Cleveland. They always fight with each other. Sometimes you go to Bone Thugs and Harmony show. There'd be four of them, 5 of them, 3 of them. You never knew what was going to happen.
Oh my God! Did wait? I was going to ask? Shit! Did he change his name?
No, it's still Flesh and Bone.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean his real name because he converted to.
No. He's spelled Stanley House.
Oh, okay.
Howse. His brother Lazy Bone, Stephen House.
Okay.
Then there's Crazy Bone, Wishbone, and Busy Bone.
Hi.
So after that, so I'm managing him, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I get him a deal with Def Jam Records out of New York.
Right.
Okay. And with Leor Cohen and got a deal, and we're recording in LA, his first record, and we do a song with Reverend Ron from Run DMC.
Yeah.
And things are looking good. And I get a call from the woman that owns the studio, and she says, "Hey, Gary, you got to meet this producer named Damon Elliott."
Okay.
He's this young producer. He's working in my studio, and the guy is amazing with beats, and he's quick, and he plays instruments, and he sings, and he's Dionne Warwick's son.
Oh.
So as soon as I heard Dionne Warwick's son, I drive right down because I'm a big Dionne Warwick fan. You know? I drive down. I meet the guy. He ends up. I want to hear some of his stuff. He plays me some beats. I say, "Come back tomorrow with some beats, and I'll play for Flesh and for Lazy." So he comes back the next day. We get into a Suzuki Sidekick, his car. He starts playing these beats, and Lazy and Flesh start rapping, this freestyling, and it's great. And so Damon ends up doing half the album, producing half the album.
What was his name?
Damon Elliott.
Damon Elliott. Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up managing him, and through him, he does Destiny's Child.
Oh,
Pink,
shit.
Maya, Jessica Simpson when she was really hot.
Yeah.
Old Dirty Bastard. It's just like,
holy fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And we get like 12 songs in movies. So now we've got songs in movies. So, I'm kind of segueing out of Flesh because he's still a little too crazy for me.
Yeah.
But Damon grew up in Beverly Hills. He grew up across the street from Aaron Spelling.
So you're managing him. So you're managing Damon.
I'm managing Damon, yeah. So
fucking hell, dude.
Yeah, so that was fun. I mean, I'm meeting Beyonce.
Oh shit.
Dad, and and we have our own studio in Hollywood, and we have our own room, and and we're meeting everybody, and we're making a lot of money, doing a lot of soundtracks.
So all those Destiny's Child songs, that's Damon?
No. He only did one song on the Survivor album. He wasn't her. She always do different producers.
Right.
So he did one song on this album. He did a song with her on a solo thing she did for a movie. He did a song with Old Dirty Bastard. He did a couple songs on Pink's record.
Wow.
And I get to meet all these people. So Pink comes into where I'm singing at Pickwick's Pub and gets up and sings with me. So, I'm having fun. And so we signed this girl named Keisha Cole. I don't know if you know Keisha Cole.
Yeah, Keisha. Yeah.
Yeah. So
she had troubles, right? Like a couple of years ago or something.
Yeah, but it's not the Keisha. It's Keisha Cole.
Oh, it's different. Okay, different. Okay.
She's from Oakland.
Okay.
And she's a singer. And she sings, but she's ghetto. Very ghetto. And we get her a huge deal at A&M Records.
Right.
Which was at the time part of Priority. I mean, not Priority, Interscope. So we get her a huge deal. Damon signs her to her label. And he does the most of the record, the majority of the record. But it's under his label. And she sells over 1 million records. And then the president of A&M Records, a guy named Ron Fair, starts moving Damon out and trying to take over. So it was another one of those kind of things. And so Damon has one of his buddies at a party go up to this Ron Fair guy and kind of put his hands on him
Yeah.
and say, I don't do this, whatever.
Yeah.
So he gets blackballed, kind of like Air Supply. It's the same thing. So Damon now gets blackballed by Ron Fair, and Keisha leaves him, and that was the end of that.
Oh my God. Fucking politics, dude.
Ah, crazy.
It's fucked up, man. It's like all these kinds of potential are just stopped because of
Oh
shit
yeah,
like that. You know what I mean?
It happens all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, man.
So that was kind of my last. Then I started working with Jerry Heller again, doing various things. But I started working on a documentary on the Negro Baseball Leagues, which is something else I'm doing.
Really?
And I started working on this Kangen water thing seriously. So I started making some pretty decent money doing that, these two things, and playing. So I kind of segued out of the crazy music business. And then I had one more little stint for about a year. Jerry calls me and he says, "Hey, man, I need you to be the road manager, production manager, merchandising manager, and sound man for this girl named Erica Jane."
Okay.
Erica Jane, if you Google her right now, you'll see a lot on her. She's been on the real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the TV show.
Yeah.
The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah,
she was one of but she was like a disco singer. She had eight number one songs on the Billboard dance charts.
Oh.
And she would do all gay clubs around the United States.
Okay.
She would do all gay clubs.
Yeah.
And her husband was a billionaire.
Oh.
And she had a private jet, and everything was first class.
Wow.
And we had about 12 people that went with us. Choreographer, gay, hairdresser, gay. Kind of like with N.W.A, I was with all blacks. Now with Erica J, I'm with all gay. We had, costume people.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And she had these 6 gay dancers. And we would go to Atlanta, we'd go to Miami, we'd go to New York, all first class. And she would do about a 15-minute set. That's
15 minutes?
And not get paid. She didn't even get paid.
Wow.
Yeah, she just did it for the fun of it. And her husband is so rich, didn't care.
Gosh.
So that was kind of the last thing I kind of did. And that was probably around 5 or 6 years ago. So,
man,
I kind of had enough in music.
Dude, hearing each era that you were in, that you were a production manager, it's like all these. It's like what? It's like, my gosh. Do you appreciate what you just said? All of that, all those stories. It's like that it happened to you. That because it's like.
You mean the last one or all of them?
No, all of them, man. It's like a charmed life, dude.
I loved my life. I still love my life.
Fuck.
I'm lucky because first of all, I'm mostly lucky because I'm pretty healthy,
Yeah.
Secondly, I've been able to play my guitar since I've been 9 years old.
Through all of this.
Never stopped. I did hundreds. I played one club in LA for 25 years. Nonstop. I mean, who do you know has done one club for 25 years?
No one, man.
No one. I went through 3 different owners, but I was, steadily there. Place burned down, and then it reopened a year later. Then I started playing again on and off for about 10 years. So,
I can relate somehow because in my band back in the Philippines, Wolfgang, when we started out, we were playing every Friday in the same club for 3 years. That was our gig.
Right.
And that's how we built our following. So it's like I made 25 years, man. And that's not even once a week, right?
What's that?
That's not even a once a week gig. That's more than once a week.
Well, no, that was usually once a week.
Oh, once a week. Okay.
Because
Okay. So yeah.
I had other places I played.
Yeah.
That was only one of the places I played.
Right.
There were maybe 5 or 6 places I would juggle around, some in LA, some in Moore Park, some in Oxnard out here.
Yeah.
Because I'm the human jukebox and because I know so many songs,
Yeah.
I kind of entertain any kind of group.
Any kind, yeah.
You want country? I got Johnny Cash. I got Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
You want rock? I got Beatles and Stones.
Yeah.
You want blues? I got blues. You want N.W.A? I got rap.
Yeah, man. The first time I saw you rap, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh my god! It was like, and it wasn't even like the thing that got me is like, yeah, okay, he raps, but and then eventually I find out what you were with actually N.W.A. It's like, okay, that's why he can rap, because he was with those dudes for a long time, man.
I don't know anybody else's raps, I don't know anybody else's raps.
Yeah.
N.W.A. because I listen to that shit every day.
Yeah. And when you were pissed at the hurricane, yeah.
Right. That's when I first learned it all. And then I started playing it in the clubs.
Yeah.
And my people loved it.
Yeah.
These are college kids, in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, early 100s. So these are college kids that love N.W.A. and they knew me from all this stuff. So they would always request, from yesterday to, here's a little story about a nigga like me. So, it's kind of been, it never made a lot of money, but, that's one of my family traits. We never make a lot of money. Yeah. But, I've survived happy, healthy all these years, and I'm still singing 3 days a week on Facebook Live, which I started that as soon as the pandemic started.
Yeah.
So if any of your fans out there, it's just Gary Ballen on Facebook. You don't even have to friend me. It's because I have so many people from the Philippines, because of Mary Lou, that listen to me every single time I play.
Filipinos love what you do, man.
I know.
If you're a human jukebox, you're king in the Philippines, man.
Yeah. Well, I played at I can't remember the name of the place, and Mary Lou knows it, but it's a pretty famous place where the guy that owned it was like a TV star. And it was upstairs. You take an elevator up.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
This was maybe 4 years ago or so.
Yeah, yeah.
But we go there, and I've got my guitar just because I have it with me.
Yeah.
And there's this Filipino band called like Sound of the 60s or something.
Right.
These guys are playing all this beautiful, 60s stuff with harmonies.
Yeah.
And they're really great. And the owner says, hey, why don't you get up and play? And these guys don't want me to get up and play. I can just tell they did not want me to get up and play.
Right.
Because they're looking at me like, So I get up and plug in. I start playing. As soon as I know it, the whole band is backing me.
Yeah.
Now we're all playing together.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's the thing, because those kinds of bands, they're called show bands in the Philippines.
Right.
So they've got that down to a T. They don't jam. They don't. It's not an open jam. It's the song. Right. So they're like always like, man, if this guy doesn't know the arrangement, then we're fucked. Yeah, but then, of course, you knew all those songs before those guys were born.
Yeah, I knew those guys were born, exactly.
Yeah.
I was doing that when they were like in diapers.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's cool, man.
And the other thing is I got so many friends, and I met so many people through music, and I still talk to Damon. He called me a couple days ago, and a lot of the N.W.A. people I stay in touch with, thank God for Facebook, because I'm in touch with so many people through that. And when I play, like today, I play, Sunday at 3:00 for 3 hours. Yeah. I got people from elementary school watching me. I got people I went to high school with, junior high. I got people that I went to college with. Yeah. I got people that I used to work, from the clubs. So and then I got probably 25 Filipinas that are friends of Mary Lou's
Yeah.
or relatives. And they have their favorite songs they request. So, we play their favorites, the ones they like.
Yeah.
And, I couldn't be happier. And I got the love of my life. So,
Man, it's like now it's like,
and I inherited money. And I inherited that money. So
oh yeah, man.
I'm not like sweating anything for at least maybe another 6 months. So
Yeah, yeah.
6 months, then I'm back to like month to month.
Dude, when I'm imagining right now, like what you've seen since the start of our conversation, it's like the start of rock and roll, the blues. You've seen all of that. It's like you have your own Forrest Gump story.
You know what? And
You
there's
know what I mean?
so much more that I haven't even hit on. For a while, I was promoting jazz concerts.
Oh my
you know,
God.
back in Ohio,
Uh-huh.
because I was kind of a big shot there as a performer. But then I opened up a jazz club at our local blues club. It was just one night a week. But I would bring in
Yeah.
I had a pot dealer partner who had tons of money.
Right.
So we would bring in whoever we wanted,
Yeah.
And it's kind of, again, like we didn't care about making money or anything.
Yeah.
We did it for fun. So I told you the story about the first two guys I saw, Sonny Stitt
Yeah.
and Mose Allison in California in 69.
Right.
1977, I hire these two guys to come and play at our club.
Wow.
So I got Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, Dave
Man.
Clark. I got like Yusef Lateef, all these really good people.
Yusef Lateef.
Yusef Lateef, yeah.
Shit.
Sonny Rollins, Eddie Harris. And I did folk stuff too.
Oh my
Dave Van Ronk was the guy that influenced Bob Dylan.
Okay.
He was pre-Bob Dylan.
Right.
So I brought him in, just because I wanted to meet these guys.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's I forgot more than a lot of people ever,
Oh man, I mean, just hearing it, and the thing is, I'm picturing it in my head. It's like and then you saw, and not just your career, but your life. You saw the Beatles when they came out on TV the first time. These are historical things, man.
Yeah.
And I only see, for me as a music fan, a music nerd especially, I only see it in documentaries. And now I actually know someone who lived through it, lived it. It's part of your life. It's part of your history. It's like, for me, it's like for me, Live Aid is my Beatles thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because seeing Freddie Mercury in Live Aid, that's when I said I want to do that. That was my thing.
Yeah.
So
That was crazy.
yeah,
I'll tell you two quick things if we got a little more time.
yeah.
I got to meet two of my idols.
Uh-huh.
Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead
Oh my gosh.
and David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Oh my God.
I got to hang out with David Gilmour for a month.
Okay, how?
When he was recording the first Pink Floyd album, Without Waters.
Shit. Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Momentary Lapse of Reason, yeah.
Yeah.
And he wrote that song, Between Me and You, about a girl that me and my ex-wife introduced him to.
Oh my God.
But here's the deal. So I'm managing Hurricane at the time. It's the mid-'80s.
Okay.
Bob Ezrin, who's producing Hurricane, produced that record.
Yeah.
And he called me and he said, "Hey, Gary, do you want to meet David Gilmour?
Oh my God.
We're doing this album." And I said, "Of course I want to meet him." So I go into my garage, and in my garage, I have a box, like cardboard box. In that box is the best marijuana and hash in the world that I'm holding for a friend of mine that is running from the FBI because he got busted for a boatload of marijuana.
Where is it from? From Colombia or Mexico?
I'm in LA at the time.
Uh-huh.
He got busted in Florida in the Florida Keys.
Okay.
But instead of going to court, he runs.
Oh shit.
So while I'm in California, and one of his buddies comes over out of nowhere and gives me this box, and he says, "Hey, I want you to hold this box, or your buddy, whatever his name is, I'm not gonna say."
Yeah. Yeah.
He gave you this box to hold. Now, if you want to use it, he says fine. So I open it up, and it's like the cover of High Times back in the day, where you got the best weed imaginable.
Oh my god.
They're all in mason jars, like Thai stick.
How big is the box? Is it like a carton?
It's maybe like around 3 feet by 2 feet. I mean, it's kind of like it's a box. I mean, you can carry it. It's not too big, but
Okay. Like you can fit a pumpkin inside or something.
yeah, you can put a pumpkin. Could have put a couple pumpkins inside.
Okay.
But I open this up, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. There's hashish, giant like ounce of hash with an Afghan stamp on it.
Oh my god.
Colombian red bud. There's Acapulco gold. And back in the day, I mean, these were what was happening.
Yeah.
I don't touch it, okay? I
Yeah.
tape it up, hide it until I get to meet David Gilmour. Then I say, you know what? I'm going to go break open that box.
Yeah.
I know David Gilmour is going to want to smoke hash.
Yeah.
Because these English guys, they put that hash in with their cigarettes,
Oh, right. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
So I go and meet David Gilmour, and we get to be really good buddies.
Oh
And we
my
go
god.
half of that box, just smoke it all.
So David Gilmour liked the ganja, huh?
Yeah, he liked the ganja, he liked the hash, and he came over to my house.
Uh-huh.
He sat on my couch. He played my guitar. He came to the Pickwick pub where I sang and watched me play.
Utang ina, pare.
I mean, it was, for me, it's like unbelievable. So,
oh my god, I can't believe you're telling me this, man.
and he's dating now. I mean, he's married already, but he's
Yeah.
this girl that's a friend of mine and my wife at the time.
Yeah.
And so we're all hanging out, going out, doing this and that. And they've got 5 gigs. They got some gigs at the LA Coliseum.
Yeah.
And I get to see all 5 of them,
Oh my gosh.
That was my David Gilmour story. Unfortunately, at the time, people didn't have phones where you can take pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
I was never like a groupie kind of guy where,
Yeah.
I took pictures of people. But there was enough people that were around that can verify.
Hey man, if I meet David Gilmour, I'll ask him about you.
And then
I believe you, man. Shit.
my last story is Jerry Garcia.
Okay.
I love the Grateful Dead.
Oh, fuck.
They're one of my favorite bands always. I play about 10 Grateful Dead songs right now. Always have. So they're playing in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm backstage. A friend of mine's the promoter.
Uh-huh.
And the band is walking from the dressing room to the stage. And the keyboard player was a guy named Keith Gottschalk.
Okay.
And his wife was named Donna Jean.
What year is this?
This is probably 1975 or 76.
Okay.
And so we're playing at the Ohio Theater, and they walk on stage, and this keyboard player got hair down to his butt, and this guy is a space cadet, but a genius keyboard player, genius.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's in the Grateful Dead. So
Yeah.
he walks up to me out of nowhere, starts handing me all this cash, all this money out of his pockets. And he says, "Hey, man, find me some Coke and some pot." And walks on stage and does the show, So I make a couple calls. By the time the show's over, I got a little baggie. I got his bag,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and I give it to him, and that's it. So the next day, I realize that I got $60 left over of change of his. So instead of keeping it, me and my buddy Mushroom Joe, who was my best friend at the time,
Uh-huh.
we know where they're staying. So we go to the Christopher in Columbus, and we ring up to his room. He's not there. So we call Jerry Garcia's room.
Okay.
And Jerry Garcia answers the phone. And for us, it's like we're talking to God now. We're talking to God.
So you didn't meet him yet?
Didn't meet him the night before.
Okay.
You know, show was unbelievable. I mean, it was amazing. Didn't meet anybody but this Keith guy.
Yeah.
We gave him his stuff, and that was it. So the next day, we go to Jerry Garcia's, and he says, "Oh, come on up." I tell him what happened. I said, "We got $60. You know, can you give it to Keith?" So we go up to his room, and you know, he answers the door, and it's like perfect Jerry Garcia. He's got a black T-shirt, black jeans, black boots. He's smoking a cigarette and a joint. He's got a guitar that he's noodling on, and he's just kind of waiting to check out. So we hang out with him, me and my buddy Joe, for about an hour. We're hanging out with Jerry Garcia for an hour. And then it's time to check out. He says, "Hey, why don't you guys come to our gig tomorrow night? We're playing in Indianapolis."
Uh-huh.
And it's Halloween.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's Grateful Dead Halloween.
Oh my God.
So he says, "Talk to Cy. Cy is their cook. He's the guy that cooks all their food."
Oh.
And they got like 50 people with them. I mean, they got a giant entourage of
Shit.
kids, there's dogs, there's
Wow.
you know, I mean, million people with them. So we go, three of my buddies and me, we load up in a van. We got mushrooms, we got Quaaludes, we got cocaine, we got pot. I mean, we're like a drugstore.
Yeah.
And we drive to Indianapolis and we get backstage, and these guys are all tripping on peyote.
Oh my God.
This guy, Cy, has got this giant chili. He got all this peyote and this giant chili.
Oh shit.
You know, everybody's eating this chili peyote. This is before the show.
Yeah.
And everybody is tripping their brains out. And I don't remember what happened. I don't remember anything after that.
Did you have some of it?
Oh, I was on mushrooms on the way
On the way in already.
So I didn't need anything else. I didn't want anything else, you know?
Oh my God.
But, you know, those were different times, different days.
Yeah. Well, of course, man. I mean, you're there, man. You're with the Grateful Dead.
Right,
Shit.
you know, I never got into the real hard stuff or the bad stuff. And
Yeah.
I like drinking, you know, I'm not much of a drinker. And
Yeah.
so.
No, and that's the good thing. I mean, you were aware enough or level-headed enough to say, okay, this is my boundary. I'm not crossing the line. You know.
Yeah, I knew when to say when, and I had friends of mine that died.
Wow,
I had friends of mine that just lost it, you know, because of that kind of stuff. So
lost their minds.
lost their mind and died, you know, OD'd, you know, and stuff like. So I saw that, not a lot of it, because you know, me and my friends we were pot smokers. You know, we were like hippie pot smokers, musicians.
Right.
You know, we weren't hurting anybody.
Yeah.
We never did anything bad. You know, we may trip for a couple days in a row, but you know. I would be so scared to do any of that stuff now. You know, I barely will smoke pot now because, you know,
Dude, you know, the sativa nowadays, it's too much for me, man. I can't take it. The sativa, it gives me palpitations. It's so strong.
Same thing with me. I'm telling you. It's like, see, I used to smoke before I sang now.
Yeah.
I don't even do that anymore because I start forgetting words, forgetting what song I'm doing.
You trip out on your own.
I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat later, you know. I'm thinking about food. It's like all these things going on in my mind while I'm singing a song.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, and then we that's why I never
got like 10 verses. You know, Stairway to Heaven or American Pie.
Oh, that you're done.
Or Billy Joel, you know, Piano Man. There's a lot of words there they got to remember.
A lot of words, yeah. That's why I don't. Especially back in the day, it's like I can smoke and play nowadays. Because I've gotten used to the hit. But back then, I'd be tripping out on the song that we're playing. So I'd be like, oh shit, what? And then I'd come out of the trance and be like, holy shit, what part are we in now? Are we in the chorus?
Yeah, you're the drummer, man. You know, you got to
I'm the drummer. I'm like, fuck, where are we? Shit. So I had to stop smoking before playing. But now I can handle it. Anyway, Gary, it was fucking amazing, man. I really,
I'm glad. Well,
I really, really appreciate this, man. I mean, I'm really happy that I met you too.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to jamming with you more.
Fuck, man. I can't wait.
In the future, I'll tell you what I'm doing now more than ever. I never played a lot of electric guitar.
Uh-huh.
I always played the Ovation, plugged into some pedal and electric acoustic. But I was never really into electric guitar.
Uh-huh.
I mean, just because I couldn't do it and I was so kind of good at what I did, I didn't want to stretch it. But now I'm playing more electric guitar. I got a little amp and practicing some stuff. So I'm looking forward to someday in the future we know some good bass players and we got some people we could jam with.
You stand in front of me and I'm gonna literally blow you away, man. And then you got to get a bigger amp and get a bigger amp and get a bigger amp.
I know what you did, man. I know what you did and what you do. I've heard you play. You're loud, okay?
Yeah.
You're John Bonham, what's his name from The Who? Keith Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh my God. I love that stuff. I love all that stuff. So anyway, on that note, it's a really high note to end this thing on, and
good.
I love you, man. Thank you very much.
Too. Salamat, and anybody that wants to check out my shit, GaryBallen.com.
Yes, GaryBallen.com. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. WGRS Talk. Great honor, Gary Ballen. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Happy holidays, bro.
Thanks, Wolfie. Same to you.
All right. I'll see you soon, man.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.